My child, freeze. Do not move past this moment. This message did not find you by accident, and it is not meant for wandering ears. It is for your eyes only. I am speaking to you now because time matters, attention matters, and what you are about to hear carries weight for your life. Slow your spirit. Still your thoughts. Stay with me, because every word ahead is placed with intention and precision. Do not listen casually. Listen carefully. Do not watch halfway. Stay until the end. What follows is not comfort without truth, nor urgency without love. It is a direct address to your heart, meant to interrupt, realign, and awaken something you have felt stirring but could not name. If you leave now, you will miss what was appointed for you. But if you stay, you will recognize yourself in these words, and nothing will remain the same. My beloved child, stop right now. I say this not as a suggestion, not as a passing thought, but as a holy command wrapped in love. Freeze where you are, not with your body, but with your spirit. Let everything else fade into the background for this moment. The noise, the thoughts racing through your mind, the endless list of what you still need to do, the worries tugging at your chest. Set them down. You are not here by accident. You did not pause on these words randomly. I have placed my hand gently but firmly on your life right now and said, "This one is mine. This one needs to hear me." Do you feel that stillness pressing in? A subtle tightening in your chest, that sense that something just shifted? That is not imagination. That is my presence asking for your attention. I know how rare it is for you to truly stop. You are always moving, always zigging, always carrying. Even when your body rests, your heart is still running. But this moment requires something different. This moment requires surrender. I am asking you to stop because if you move past this too quickly, you will miss what I am trying to heal, reveal, and realign inside you. I am not shouting to frighten you. I am speaking firmly because I love you too much to whisper when your destiny is at stake. You have been rushing through life, rushing through pain, rushing through unanswered questions, telling yourself you will slow down later, when things make sense, when you feel stronger, when the weight is lighter. But later has cost you clarity. Later has dulled your sensitivity to my voice. So I interrupt you now. Right here. Right when you least expected it. I freeze you in this moment because heaven itself has leaned close. Angels are not in a hurry. Eternity is not rushed. And I need you to feel the weight of this pause. This is not a dramatic opening. This is a sacred interruption. Stop right now because what comes next is not information. It is alignment. Your soul has been out of breath, and this pause is where I help you breathe again. And as you stop, truly stop, let me tell you why this matters so much. You have been standing at the edge of something without realizing it. For a long time, you have felt like life was pushing you forward while your heart lagged behind. You have felt misaligned, doing what you must, saying what is expected, showing up even when something inside you felt fractured. And you learned how to function like that. You learned how to smile through it, how to nod, how to keep going. But functioning is not the same as living, and surviving is not the same as being whole. That is why I say stop. Because if you keep moving at the same pace, you will carry brokenness into places that were meant for healing. I am not stopping you to punish you. I am stopping you to protect you. There are patterns I am breaking right now. Old cycles of fear, old habits of self-doubt, old agreements you made with pain when you were wounded and didn't know how else to cope. You called them just the way I am, but I call them chains, and chains cannot come with you where I am taking you. This pause is the moment where those chains begin to loosen. This is where your spirit catches up with your body. This is where you hear me clearly again, without distortion, without static, without the lies that told you I was distant or disappointed. Stop right now, my child, because I am about to speak directly into the deepest places of you, the places you don't show anyone, the places you've learned to guard even from yourself. And I will not rush this. I refuse to. Love does not rush healing. Truth does not sprint past wounded places. So breathe. Today, let the weight of this moment settle. You are safe here. Nothing is demanded of you except your attention. And if you stay still long enough, you will realize something profound. You are not being stopped because you are failing. You are being stopped because you are about to be realigned. My beloved child, understand this clearly now. This interruption is not disruption. It is devotion. It is not chaos. It is care. It is not delay. It is deliverance disguised as pause. You have lived long enough reacting to interruptions as enemies, as inconveniences, as obstacles standing in the way of what you were trying to accomplish. You were taught that interruptions slow you down, throw you off, steal momentum. But I tell you now, some interruptions are not sent to stop you from becoming who you are meant to be. They are sent to stop you from becoming someone you were never meant to become. This moment, this sudden stillness, this sharp inward tug, this feeling that you cannot simply move on. This is love stepping in front of you and saying, not like this. Not alone. Not wounded. Not unaware. I interrupted your scrolling because your soul was slipping past itself. I interrupted your routine because your heart was running on fumes. I interrupted your momentum because momentum without direction leads to exhaustion, not fulfillment. Do you hear the contrast, my child? The world rushes and I rest you. The world demands speed. I offer stillness. The world applauds busyness. I call for presence. This interruption is not punishment. It is protection. It is my hand on your chest, gently, but firmly saying, breathe. Today, let me catch you before you collapse under the weight you keep pretending you can carry. You did not even realize how heavy it had become, did you? You normalized the strain. You spiritualized the fatigue. You called survival strength. But love will not allow you to bleed quietly forever. Love steps in. Love interrupts. Love refuses to let you disappear behind productivity, responsibility, or silent endurance. And listen to me closely now, because I need you to feel this, not just understand it. I interrupted you because you matter too much to me to be treated casually, even by yourself. There were moments you showed others more patience than you showed your own soul. You excused their flaws while condemning your own. You allowed yourself to be the last priority, the final consideration, the one who would be fine later. Later became habit. Habit became distance. Distance became numbness. And still, you kept moving. Still, you kept smiling. Still, you told yourself you were okay. But love is not impressed by appearances. Love is attentive. Love listens beneath words. Love hears the sigh behind the smile. I heard it. I hear it now. That is why this interruption carries urgency. Not panic, urgency. There is a difference. Panic shouts from fear. Urgency speaks from care. Panic says, you're about to lose everything. Urgency says, pay attention. Something precious is here. And you, my child, are precious. Your heart is precious. Your calling is precious. Your healing is precious. So I interrupt you the way a father grabs a child's hand before they step into traffic. Not to control them, but to save them. not to scold them, but to shield them. This interruption is love saying, I refuse to let you keep hurting in silence. It is love saying, I refuse to let you confuse endurance with destiny. It is love saying, come back to me for a moment. Let me tend to what you've been ignoring. Stay with me here. Let the interruption do its work. Let it rearrange you. Let it soften you. Let it remind you that being loved is not something you have to earn by pushing through pain. You are not weak for needing this pause. You are wise for receiving it. And as we move forward, remember this truth. Love that never interrupts is love that never protects. I interrupt because I care. I stop you because I see you. And I will not apologize for loving you this deeply. My child, there is a loneliness that does not come from being alone. It comes from being unseen. And I know you have felt that kind of loneliness. You have been surrounded by people yet felt invisible. You have spoken, yet felt unheard. You have shown up, yet felt overlooked. Others see your surface, your competence, your kindness, your composure. But I see the cost of carrying all of that. I see the quiet negotiations you make with yourself just to get through the day. I see the thoughts you silence before they fully form because you are afraid they will overwhelm you. I see the questions you swallow because you don't want to sound ungrateful, faithless, or weak. And I need you to hear this clearly now. Nothing about you is hidden from me. Nothing. Not the sigh you release when no one is listening. Not the ache you feel when you lie awake at night replaying conversations you wish had gone differently. Not the tension you carry in your body because your mind never truly rests. I see what no one else sees because I look at you with love, not expectation. Others look at you and measure what you produce. I look at you and cherish who you are. That contrast matters. The world notices outcomes. I notice endurance. The world celebrates success. I honor faithfulness in unseen places. The world claps for strength. I cradle vulnerability. And you, my child, have been vulnerable more times than anyone knows. You have fought internal battles while maintaining external order. You have bled quietly while functioning publicly. You have questioned yourself deeply while reassuring others confidently. And you wondered, does anyone see this? Does it matter? Let me answer you now without hesitation. I see it all, and it matters to me more than you can imagine. And because I see what no one else sees, I also see the lies you have been carrying about yourself. Lies formed in moments of rejection. Lies whispered during seasons of waiting. Lies reinforced by comparison and silence. You told yourself, if I were stronger, this wouldn't hurt. You told yourself, if I were better, this would have worked. You told yourself, if God really saw me, things would be different by now. But those conclusions were born from pain, not truth. I see the root beneath the struggle. I see the tenderness beneath the toughness. I see the longing beneath the discipline. I see the child within you who learned early how to self-soothe, self-manage, self-correct because they did not want to be a burden. And I want you to know this now. You were never a burden to me. You are not invisible to me. You do not have to translate your pain into palatable language for me to care. I understand groans you cannot form into prayers. I understand tears you wipe away before they fall. I understand silence that screams. And here is the turning point, my beloved. Being seen changes how you carry life. When you know you are seen, you no longer need to perform. When you know you are seen, you no longer need to prove. When you know you are seen, you can finally rest. That is why I am telling you this now. Not to overwhelm you, but to anchor you. As we move forward, as this message unfolds layer by layer, Remember this truth and return to it often. Even when no one else understands you, you are fully known. Even when no one else notices your effort, it is recorded in my heart. Even when you feel misunderstood, you are never misread by me. I see what no one else sees, and I love you still. Deeply, completely, permanently. My beloved child, you have been asking for a sign, sometimes boldly, sometimes quietly, sometimes so deep within yourself that even you barely recognize the question. You asked in moments of desperation and in moments of exhaustion. You asked when the room was silent and when your mind was loud. You asked when you knelt in prayer and when you stared at the ceiling with no words left to give. You asked me, are you there? Do you see me? Am I on the right path? Is this all there is? And hear me now, clearly and without hesitation. I heard every single one of those questions. Not one escaped me. Not one was dismissed. Not one was too small, too repetitive, or too uncertain for my attention. This moment, this pause, this message reaching you right now, is not random content drifting across your path. It is a response. It is a reply. It is heaven leaning down and answering a question your lips may not have fully formed, but your heart cried out with aching clarity. You asked for a sign, and like so many before you, you expected thunder or spectacle, something undeniable and dramatic. But instead, I chose intimacy. I chose timing. I chose precision. I chose to meet you where you actually are, not where you thought a sign should appear. Signs are not always loud. Sometimes they are exact. Sometimes they arrive so personally that they can only be meant for one set of eyes, one wounded heart, one searching soul. That is why this feels different. That is why something inside you tightened when you began reading. That is why you could not simply move on. This is not coincidence. It is confirmation. And I need you to understand something important here, my child, because Tao has tried to creep in even now. You have been conditioned to distrust moments like this. You have been taught to explain them away, to rationalize the stirring, to call it emotion or coincidence or imagination. But listen to the contrast. Coincidence fades quickly. Truth lingers. Emotion spikes and disappears. Truth settles and stays. Imagination entertains, my voice anchors. And what you are feeling right now is not fleeting. It is grounding. It is weighty. It carries gravity. That is how you recognize a true sign from me. It does not rush you. It arrests you. And does not confuse you. It clarifies you. It does not inflate you. It humbles you. You have been asking for direction, and I am not giving you a map. I am giving you myself. You have been asking for reassurance, and I am not handing you shallow comfort. I am inviting you into deeper trust. This sign is not meant to answer every question at once. It is meant to settle the most important one. Am I alone? And the answer is no. You never were. You are not now. You will not be. I am here, responding in real time to a real need. And as we continue, as these words unfold layer by layer, I want you to hold this truth close. You are not reaching out into emptiness. You are being answered. You are being guided. You are being met. This is the sign you asked for, not because it dazzles the eye, but because it speaks directly to your soul. My child, let me say this slowly so it can sink beneath your thoughts and into your spirit. This message found you on purpose. You did not wander into it. You were led. There were 100 other directions your attention could have gone. 100 other things you could have clicked, scrolled past, or dismissed. But something held you here. Something whispered, stay. That whisper was not random. It was not curiosity alone. It was not habit or boredom. It was guidance. I arranged this moment with intention, with care, with precision only heaven can orchestrate. Timing is one of my signatures. I do not arrive early and I do not arrive late. I arrive exactly when your heart is most open, even if your mind is still uncertain. You may not have felt ready for this, but readiness is not about confidence. It is about hunger. And you have been hungry. Hungry for truth. Hungry for reassurance. Hungry for meaning that goes deeper than surface answers and temporary fixes. That hunger drew you here, whether you recognized it or not. I placed this message in your path the way a father places his hand on his child's shoulder in a crowded room, firm enough to be felt, gentle enough not to frighten. This was not chance. It was care in motion. It was love acting deliberately. And I need you to stop telling yourself that meaningful moments are rare accidents. They are not. They are arranged encounters. And this one has your name written all over it. Now listen carefully, because this is where perspective must shift. You have often believed that if something were truly meant for you, it would arrive without resistance, without confusion, without inner conflict. But the most important moments are often the ones you always miss. The enemy of your soul does not fight what is meaningless. He fights what is aligned. That subtle resistance you felt before stopping here. That sudden urge to scroll away. That quiet thought saying, "This probably isn't for me." That was not discernment. That was distraction. And yet, here you are. You stayed. That matters. That choice alone tells me something about your heart. It tells me you are listening again. It tells me you are waking up to the fact that your life is not a string of random events, but a guided journey, even when it feels messy, even when it feels delayed, even when it feels unclear. I guided you here because there are truths you are ready to hear now that you were not ready to hear before. There are wounds you can finally face without being overwhelmed. There are lies you can finally release because you are strong enough to let them go. And there are new paths opening that require clarity, not confusion. That is why this message did not arrive earlier. And that is why it could not arrive later. Purpose has timing. Healing has timing. Revelation has timing. And this right now, is yours. So stay with me in this understanding, my child. Let it dismantle the old narrative that you are drifting through life unnoticed. You are not drifting. You are being led. You are not overlooked. You are being prepared. You are not late. You are arriving. This message found you because I wanted it to. Because I needed to recalibrate your heart before you take the next steps ahead. Because there are decisions coming that require discernment, not fear. Courage, not comparison. Trust, not hesitation. And I am not sending you forward blind. I am meeting you here first. Remember this when doubt tries to return later. Remember this when the world grows loud again. Remember this when you are tempted to minimize what just happened. You were found on purpose. You were addressed intentionally. And nothing about this moment was accidental. I am with you, guiding you, speaking to you. One moment, one truth, one step at a time. My beloved child, let me say this slowly, tenderly, and repeatedly until it settles where doubt once lived. You are not forgotten, not overlooked, not misplaced, not delayed by accident, not lost in the crowd, not fading into the background of someone else's story. You are not forgotten by me, not now, not ever. I know there were seasons when it felt like life moved on without you. Seasons when others advanced while you remained still. Seasons when prayers seemed to echo back unanswered and silence grew so loud it felt personal. In those moments, your heart quietly asked, did I miss something? Did I fail to hear God? Did He move on? And because the pain lingered, you began to internalize the silence as absence. But absence is not the same as invisibility, and invisibility is not the same as abandonment. Here is the contrast you must hold on to now. The world forgets easily, but I remember eternally. People lose track of names, faces, efforts, sacrifices, but I do not lose sight of my children. I do not misplace what I love. I do not overlook what I formed with intention. Every step you took, even the ones that felt small or wrong or hesitant, was seen. Every moment you endured quietly, every time you chose to keep going when you felt empty, was recorded not as weakness but as faithfulness. You are not forgotten in the waiting. You are not forgotten in the delay. You are not forgotten in the silence. Silence does not mean I have turned away. Often it means I am leaning in, working deeper than words can reach. And my child, I know exactly when the lie of being forgotten took root in you. It was not sudden. It grew slowly, fed by comparison, watered by disappointment, strengthened by unanswered why questions. You watched doors open for others while yours stayed shut. You did the right thing and still suffered. You stayed faithful and still felt overlooked. Over time, you stopped expecting to be seen. You lowered your hopes, not because you stopped believing in me, but because believing began to hurt. So you told yourself it was safer not to expect too much, safer not to hope too boldly, safer to assume you were on your own. But to hear me now with clarity and compassion, your self-protection was understandable, but it was built on a false conclusion. You were never forgotten. You were being prepared in private. The roots were growing where no applause could reach. The strength was being formed where no one could interfere. The depth was being carved where shortcuts were not allowed. And yes, it was lonely. Growth in the dark always is. But darkness does not mean neglect. It often means development. Seeds are not forgotten underground. They are hidden on purpose. And you, my child, have been hidden, not discarded, shielded, not ignored, preserved, not passed over. I know how long it has been. I know how heavy hope can feel when it's been carried too long. That is why I am telling you this now, not to rush you forward, but to heal the place where you stopped believing you mattered. You matter. You always did. So let this truth replace the old script that has played in your mind. When the thought returns, I was forgotten, answer it with truth. I was remembered before I was seen. When the ache whispers, I was overlooked, answer it with faith. I was protected from being rushed. When fear says, I was left behind, answer it with confidence. I was held back for alignment. I am not late with you. I am precise. And I have not forgotten your name, your tears, your prayers, or your promises. I have not forgotten the version of you that hoped freely before disappointment taught you restraint. I am calling that version back to life now. Slowly, gently, safely. You are not forgotten, my child. You are remembered, fully, fiercely, forever. My child, I know how tired you are, and I do not mean the kind of tired that sleep can fix. I mean the deep weariness that settles into your bones, the exhaustion that lingers even after rest, the fatigue that comes from carrying more than you were ever meant to carry alone. I know the weight you wake up with. I know the way your mind starts running before your feet even touch the floor. I know how often you push yourself past what is healthy because stopping feels like failure. You tell yourself, just get through today. Then tomorrow comes, and you say it again. Day after day, week after week, You have learned how to function tired, how to smile tired, how to believe tired. But functioning is not the same as flourishing, and endurance is not the same as peace. I see the contrast clearly even if you do not. You are strong, but you are strained. Faithful, but fatigued. Capable, but carrying too much. And I want you to hear this without judgment or disappointment. Your tiredness does not disqualify you. It reveals how much you have been giving. It reveals how long you have been standing. It reveals the depth of your responsibility, your compassion, your commitment. But love does not demand that you bleed endlessly to prove devotion. Love invites rest before collapse. That is why I am speaking to you now, not later, not after you break, not after you lose joy completely. I am meeting you in the tiredness, not scolding you for it. And my beloved, I know you have tried to explain this tiredness away. You blamed age, circumstances, dress, seasons. But the truth is deeper. You are tired because you have been carrying things that belong to me. Worries you were never meant to solve alone. Outcomes you were never meant to control. Expectations you were never meant to meet perfectly. You took responsibility where trust was required. You took ownership where surrender was needed. And over time, your soul grew heavy. You became the one everyone leaned on, but you did not know how to lean back. You became reliable, but reliability slowly replaced rest. You became strong, but strength slowly replaced softness. And now you wonder why joy feels distant, why passion feels muted, why prayer sometimes feels like effort instead of connection. It is not because you are failing, it is because you are exhausted. And exhaustion distorts perspective. It makes you think everything is urgent. Everything is fragile. Everything depends on you. But hear me clearly now. It does not. I am still God even when you rest. I am still working even when you pause. I am still faithful even when you are tired. Your exhaustion is not a spiritual flaw. It is a signal that it is time to lay something down. So come closer now, my child, and let me speak rest into you, not as an idea, but as permission. Permission to stop striving. Permission to stop over-explaining. Permission to stop holding yourself to impossible standards. You do not need to earn my care. You do not need to oppress me with endurance. I already know how tired you are, and I am not disappointed. I am compassionate. I am inviting you into a different rhythm now, one where trust replaces tension and presence replaces pressure. Let this be the moment you admit the truth to me without shame. I am tired. I can work with honesty. I can heal exhaustion. I can restore what has been depleted. But I will not force rest on a soul that refuses to slow down. Stay here with me. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breathing deepen. Let the weight begin to shift. You do not have to carry it all tonight. You do not have to solve tomorrow right now. I know how tired you are, and I am here to carry you for a while. My child, I know how heavy the waiting has felt. I know how long it has stretched, how often you checked the horizon hoping today would be different, how many times you whispered, "Surely now," only to face another delay. Waiting as a way of making you question everything, your choices, your faith, even my promises. And somewhere along the way, you began to wonder if the waiting meant failure, if the silence meant disapproval, if the delay meant denial. But hear me now, slowly and clearly, because this truth must be planted deep. The waiting has not been wasted. Not one moment. Not one tear. Not one long night where you stared at the ceiling wondering if anything was happening at all. Waiting is not empty time. Waiting is working time. just not the kind you can measure with visible progress. The world measures movement, I measure formation. The world celebrates speed, I cultivate depth. The world rewards arrival, I honor preparation. And in your waiting, my child, something sacred has been happening beneath the surface. While you thought nothing was moving, I was strengthening your roots. While you thought you were being passed over, I was removing what would have broken you later. While you thought the door was closed because you were unworthy, I was holding it shut because you were not yet finished becoming. That is the contrast you must understand now. Delay is not rejection, it is refinement. Silence is not abandonment, it is instruction spoken too deeply for noise. And I know the waiting tested you, and tested your patience, your trust, your self-worth. It tempted you to settle for less just to escape the discomfort of not knowing. It whispered lies like, if it hasn't happened by now, it never will, or if God really intended this for you, it would be easier. But those whispers were never truth. They were pressure. Pressure to rush what needed time. Pressure to choose comfort over calling. Pressure to exchange depth for speed. And you resisted more than you realize. Even when you doubted, you stayed. Even when you were discouraged, you did not fully walk away. Even when you felt forgotten, something in you still believed there was meaning in the delay. That quiet endurance mattered. It shaped you in ways success never could. It taught you discernment instead of impulse. It taught you humility instead of entitlement. It taught you dependence instead of control. And yes, you heard. Growth always does when it happens in the dark. But wasted seasons do not produce wisdom, and you have wisdom now. You see differently. You feel more deeply. You understand pain without becoming it. That did not happen by accident. It happened in the waiting. So let me redeem the story you have been telling yourself about that season. You called it lost time. I call it protected time. You called it delay. I call it divine pacing. You called it nothing happening. I call it unseen construction. I was building something in you that needed strength before it needed exposure. I was aligning your heart before aligning your circumstances. I was healing old patterns so you would not carry them into what comes next. And now, my child, the waiting is beginning to make sense. Not all at once, not perfectly, but enough for you to trust me again. Enough for you to loosen your grip on regret. Enough for you to stop resenting the past and start honoring what it produced. Do not rush past this truth. Sit with it. Let it heal the bitterness you didn't know you were holding. The waiting was not wasted. It was invested. And what it has produced in you will soon support what I am about to release through you. My child, if I have redeemed your waiting, then do not let what was formed in you remain hidden. This message did not reach you by accident. It is for your eyes, yes, but it is also meant to become light for others still waiting in the dark. As you sow now, you turn protected time into multiplied harvest, and wisdom gained in silence becomes bread for many. I say to you, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and your giving waters seeds far beyond what you can see. This is your moment to partner with me, not later, not someday, now, while the soil is ready. When you support this work through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is in the video description, you pour oil into a flame I am using to reach souls. I will bless what you release, guard what concerns you, and multiply what you place in my hands. Do not delay, act now and give as I lead you. My beloved child, this is where I need you to listen, not with your defenses, not with your doubts, but with your heart. I was closer than you realized. In the moments you thought I was distant, I was near. In the seasons you thought I was silent, I was attentive. In the nights you felt abandoned, I was present. But pain has a way of narrowing vision. It makes you interpret quiet as absence and stillness as neglect. And when answers do not come quickly, the mind fills the gap with fear. You assume I had stepped back when in truth, I had stepped in closer, close enough to work gently, deeply, carefully, without overwhelming you. Think of it this way. Surgeons do not shout while operating. Artists do not rush while refining detail. Fathers do not abandon children when they are learning to walk. They step closer, ready to catch them if they fall. I was close when you stumbled. I was close when you questioned. I was close when you cried in private and told no one how heavy it felt. I was close when you thought your prayers were bouncing off the ceiling. I was close when you felt numb and wondered if you had lost your faith altogether. You did not lose me. You lost awareness of my nearness, and even that did not change where I was. And my child, I understand why you thought I was far. You were looking for me in outcomes instead of presence. You were watching circumstances instead of listening for my whisper. You expected closeness to feel like constant reassurance, constant clarity, constant emotional warmth. But sometimes closeness feels like quiet companionship. Sometimes it feels like strength without explanation. Sometimes it feels like survival when you should have collapsed. That was me. When you had no reason to keep going but did anyway, that was me. When you felt peace in moments that should have broken you, that was me. When you avoided decisions that later proved harmful even though you didn't know why at the time, that was me. I was guiding you subtly, steering you gently, guarding you invisibly. And now that you are looking back, you can see the fingerprints everywhere. Doors that closed just in time. Relationships that ended before they could destroy you. Delays that spared you from consequences you could not yet see. That was not luck. That was proximity. That was me being close enough to intervene quietly. So let this realization soften something in you. Let it heal the idea that you must always feel me to be held by me. Faith is not proven by constant emotion. It is proven by sustained presence. And I have been present every step. I did not wait for you to feel strong. I did not pull away when you doubted. I did not withdraw when you struggled to trust. I stayed. That is who I am. And as we move forward now, as your awareness of my nearness sharpens, life will feel different. Not because everything changes overnight, but because you will no longer walk believing you are alone. You will notice me more. You will hear me sooner. You will trust me deeper. And when the next quiet season comes, and it will, you will not panic the way you once did. You will remember this truth and say, He is close, even now. My child, I was closer than you realized then, and I am closer than you realize now. Always. My beloved child, pause with me here for a moment, because this truth carries weight and it deserves to be felt, not skimmed. You survived what should have broken you. Not what felt hard, not what was inconvenient or uncomfortable, but what statistically, emotionally, and spiritually should have ended you. There were moments when the pressure exceeded your capacity, when the loss was heavier than your strength, when the betrayal cut deeper than your understanding. And yet, you are still here, breathing, thinking, hoping, even if quietly. That is not normal resilience. That is not coincidence. That is grace woven into endurance. There were storms that should have swept you away, nights that should have consumed you, seasons that should have hardened your heart beyond recognition. But they did not. Something held you together when you had no explanation for why you didn't fall apart completely. Something steadied you when you were shaking. Something anchored you when everything familiar shifted beneath your feet. That something was me. I was with you in the fracture, not watching from a distance but bracing you from within. You did not survive because you were unbreakable. You survived because you were held. And there is a profound difference between the two. The world praises toughness. I honor perseverance. The world applauds those who never crack. I draw near to those who bend and keep going anyway. You survived not because the pain was small, but because my presence was greater. And I know you minimize it now. You look back and say, others have had it worse, or I should be over this by now, or I didn't really survive. I just endured. But survival does not always look triumphant. Sometimes survival looks like getting out of bed when you don't want to exist. Sometimes it looks like choosing not to give up even when you don't feel hope. Sometimes it looks like staying kind when bitterness would have been easier. Sometimes it looks like continuing to believe, even when belief feels fragile and thin. You measure survival by how quickly you recovered. I measure it by the fact that you are still standing, still loving, still open, still willing to listen. That alone tells me everything. You survived disappointment that could have made you cynical. You survived rejection that could have made you close off. You survived confusion that could have made you walk away from faith entirely. But you didn't. You questioned, yes. You doubted, yes. You struggled, yes. But you stayed. And staying, when leaving would have been understandable, is one of the purest forms of courage. Do not underestimate what you walk through. Do not dismiss the cost. Do not belittle the strength it took to keep going. You survived what should have broken you, and survival has left evidence in you. Depth, empathy, discernment, humility. These are not scars of weakness. They are marks of formation. So let me reframe your story now. What you called barely making it, I call refusing to quit. What you called just getting by, I call faith under fire. What you call damage, I call refinement. You were not destroyed by the storm. You were defined by how you moved through it. And here is the part I need you to receive. The things that tried to break you will not have the final word. They do not get to define your future. They do not get to narrate your identity. They do not get to tell you who you are capable of becoming. You survived them, which means you are no longer under their authority. You are standing now with wisdom you didn't have before, with strength you didn't ask for but now carry, with compassion that only comes from having walked through pain without letting it poison you. And as we move forward, as the next chapters unfold, do not be afraid of what lies ahead. You have already faced worse and survived. Not because you were alone, but because I was with you. And I am still with you now. My child, this is where the work becomes delicate, because guilt has wrapped itself around your heart in ways you may not even recognize anymore. Let go of the guilt now, not later. Not after you fix yourself. Not after you make up for what you think you did wrong. Now, guilt has been sitting quietly in the background of your thoughts, curating your memories, coloring how you see yourself, shaping how you approach me. It whispers, you should have known better. It repeats, if only you had chosen differently. It insists, you don't deserve peace yet. And over time, you accepted guilt as a companion, painful, but familiar. But hear me clearly, guilt that teaches and then releases is wisdom. Guilt that lingers and punishes is bondage. And I did not create you for bondage. I see the moments you replay, the decisions you wish you could undo, the words you wish you could take back. I see the self-accusation disguised as humility, the self-criticism masked as accountability. But carrying guilt does not honor me. It does not make you holy. It does not prove sincerity. It only keeps wounds open that were meant to heal. You think holding on to guilt shows responsibility. I tell you, it only prolongs pain. Responsibility leads to repentance and restoration. Guilt keeps you stuck in yesterday, and you were not created to live facing backward. And I know why letting go feels dangerous to you. You fear that releasing guilt means excusing yourself, minimizing harm, or forgetting lessons learned. But forgiveness does not erase wisdom. Healing does not deny growth. Letting go does not mean pretending it didn't matter. It means trusting me to redeem what you cannot change. You have punished yourself long enough. You have rehearsed regret long enough. You have bowed your head under the weight of what if long enough. I am not asking you to forget the past. I am asking you to stop living inside it. You learned. You grew. You changed. And in places where you didn't know better then, I do not hold you to the understanding you have now. I see the full picture. I see the context. I see the fear, the immaturity, the wounds that influenced those choices. I see it all. And still, I choose mercy. Still, I choose grace. Still, I choose you. If I am not condemning you, why are you condemning yourself? If I have released you, why are you still holding the chains? Guilt is not proof of righteousness. Surrender is. And surrender begins when you believe that I am more committed to your restoration than you are to your punishment. So let this be the moment, my beloved child, where you loosen your grip on what has been choking your joy. Speak it aloud in your spirit if you need to. I release the guilt. Not because it never mattered, but because it no longer owns you. You are not defined by your worst moment. You are not disqualified by your mistakes. You are not delayed because of your past. I have already factored every failure into your future, and none of them surprised me. The path ahead does not require a perfect past, it requires a surrendered heart. And your heart is ready now. You have carried guilt long enough to understand its weight. Now it is time to lay it down. Come closer. Let me lift it from you. Let me replace it with peace, with clarity, with freedom. You were never meant to carry that burden forever. Let go of the guilt now. I am holding you, and I am not letting you fall. My child, I need you to hear this without flinching, without qualifying it, without arguing back in your mind. You are not behind in life. Not late. Not lagging. Not failing to keep pace with some invisible clock you imagine everyone else is following. That clock was never mine. It was built from comparison, fed by pressure, and enforced by fear. You learned early to measure yourself by milestones, by timelines that promised meaning if you arrived on time. And when your life did not match those expectations, when your path curved instead of sprinted straight, you assumed something was wrong with you. You told yourself you missed a window. You believed you fell behind while others moved ahead. But listen to the contrast I place before you now. Human timelines reward speed. Divine timing cultivates readiness. Human clocks rush outcomes, my timing prepares hearts. Human culture shames delay, I use it to deepen discernment. You are not behind. You are being aligned. Alignment takes time because it requires honesty, humility, and healing. It requires shedding what you picked up just to survive. It requires learning who you are apart from applause and comparison. And that kind of work cannot be rushed without breaking the vessel it is meant to fill. I know how often you compare your life to others, sometimes openly, sometimes quietly, sometimes so subtly you hardly notice it happening. You scroll, you listen, you observe, and a voice inside whispers, "They're ahead. You're late." That voice steals peace and calls it motivation. It steals joy and calls it realism. But it is neither. It is a thief. It does not tell the truth about you or about them. You see their highlight and compare it to your hidden work. You see their arrival and ignore their preparation. You see their outcome and discount your formation. And in doing so, you must judge your own progress. Progress is not always visible. Some of the most important steps you've taken happened inwardly. Steps away from toxic patterns, steps toward self-awareness, steps into courage that no one applauded. You unlearned habits that once protected you but later restricted you. You chose healing over hiding. You chose integrity over shortcuts. You chose depth over speed. Those choices moved you forward more than any milestone ever could. And yet, because they were quiet, you called them delay. I called them wisdom. So let me dismantle the lie that has followed you like a shadow, that if it hasn't happened yet, it never will. That lie is born from impatience, not truth. What is meant for you does not expire because time passes. Promises do not rot. Purpose does not vanish. Calling does not evaporate because the road was longer than expected. I am not bound by deadlines, and neither is what I have prepared for you. You are not racing against others. You are walking with me. And I do not lead anyone late. Sometimes I slow you down so you don't outrun your character. Sometimes I hold you back so you don't step into something before it is safe. Sometimes I take the long road because the short one would have cost you too much. And when you finally arrive, and you will arrive whole, not hollow. You will arrive ready, not reckless. You will arrive grounded, not grasping. That is not being behind. That is being wisely led. Lift your head, my child. Release the shame of imagined lateness. You are not behind. You are exactly where growth has brought you, and growth has been doing holy work in you. My beloved child, there is a wound you learned to live with, a hurt you adapted around, a pain you stopped naming because it felt permanent. And over time, that hurt began to speak, to narrate your story, to explain your reactions, to justify your caution. It told you who you were allowed to be and who you should never become again. But I am speaking now to reclaim your identity from your injury. What hurt you did not define you. Not the betrayal. Not the rejection. Not the abandonment. Not the disappointment that carved questions into your heart. Those experiences marked you, yes, but they do not name you. They touch you, but they do not own you. And the difference between being marked and being defined is everything. The world often confuses the two. It tells people to introduce themselves by their pain, to explain themselves by their trauma, to limit themselves by what went wrong. But I did not create you from brokenness. I created you from intention. Before the wound, there was design. Before the damage, there was dignity. Before the hurt, there was calling. And none of those were erased by what you endured. I know how the hurt changed you. It made you more careful. It taught you to read rooms quickly, to anticipate shifts, to protect yourself before danger arrived. Those instincts were not evil, they were survival. But survival is not meant to be a permanent identity. You were never meant to live forever braced for impact. The walls you built kept you safe for a season, but now they are keeping you small. You call it wisdom, but sometimes it is fear wearing a reasonable face. You call it discernment, but sometimes it is pain refusing to risk again. And I do not shame you for that. I understand it. I was with you when the wound happened. I saw how it landed. I saw what it cost you. But hear me now with gentleness and authority. You are allowed to heal beyond the point of survival. You are allowed to live without constantly referencing the injury. You are allowed to hope without rehearsing disappointment. You are allowed to open your hands again. What hurt you may have influenced your behavior, but it does not determine your destiny. I refuse to let your worst experience become your truest description. So let us do something holy together now. Let us separate who you are from what happened to you. You are not the one who was left. You are the one who was preserved. You are not the one who failed. You are the one who learned. You are not the one who was overlooked. You are the one who was protected. Pain speaks loudly, but it does not speak accurately. It tells stories in absolutes, always, never. This is just how it is. I speak in truth, restorative, redemptive, forward-moving truth. And my truth says this: your tenderness is not weakness. Your empathy is not damage. Your depth is not heaviness. These are the fruits of having walked through pain without letting it harden you. That alone tells me something beautiful about your heart. And now, my child, it is time to loosen the grip of the story that says you are what happened to you. You are more. You always were. You are who I say you are. Loved beyond injury, chosen beyond failure, and free beyond fear. What hurt you did not define you. I do. And I am not finished telling your story. My beloved child, there is a place in you that learned how to endure pain instead of expecting healing. A place that stopped praying boldly because disappointment hurt too much. A place that quietly accepted, this is just how it is now, not because you lost faith, but because hope felt dangerous. And I know exactly where that place is. I know when it formed. I know what caused it. I know the moment you realized the pain wasn't leaving quickly. The moment you adjusted your expectations downward just to survive. You didn't do it out of rebellion. You did it out of self-preservation. But hear me now, with clarity and authority wrapped in tenderness. I am healing what you thought was permanent. The wound you learned to live with is not your final condition. The ache you stopped naming is not your destiny. The limitation you accepted is not the boundary of your future. You mistook duration for definition. You assumed that because it lasted, it must be forever. But time does not decide permanence. Truth does. And the truth is this: I specialize in restoring what humans have declared irreversible. I work where resignation has settled in. I move where hope has grown quiet. I heal not only what is visible, but what has gone numb. I know you've tried to adapt. You learned how to function around the pain. You learned which thoughts to avoid, which memories to keep buried, which expectations to lower so you wouldn't be disappointed again. You called it maturity. You called it realism. But beneath it was grief. Grief for the version of you that once believed more freely, trusted more openly, hoped more easily. And I have not forgotten that version of you. I have not abandoned them. I have been waiting for the right moment to reach them safely. Healing too early can reopen wounds. Dealing too forcefully can overwhelm fragile places. So I waited. Not because I was absent, but because I was precise. And now you are strong enough to receive what once would have broken you. Now you can feel without being consumed. Now you can remember without being destroyed. That is why I am speaking to you this way now. This is not coincidence. This is timing. Healing is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is gentle, deliberate, and deeply personal. Sometimes it feels like a slow loosening rather than a sudden release. But make no mistake, movement is happening. Restoration is underway. What you thought was frozen is thawing. What you thought was dead is responding to life again. So let me touch the place you protected. Let me enter the room you locked. Let me speak into the silence you accepted as final. You do not need to brace yourself anymore. You do not need to manage the pain before I arrive. I am not afraid of your wounds. I am not overwhelmed by your history. I am not discouraged by how long it has been. I work outside of clocks and beyond conclusions. I am healing what you thought was permanent, not to erase your past, but to redeem it. Not to deny what you went through, but to free you from having to live inside it forever. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not stuck beyond hope. You are not damaged beyond restoration. Healing is not something you must chase. It is something I am bringing to you. Stay with me here. Let the walls lower. Let the breath deepen. Let the expectation rise again, slowly, safely. This is not the end of your story. This is the turning of a chapter you thought was sealed shut. I am healing what you thought was permanent, and I am not stopping halfway. My precious child, listen to me closely now, because this truth may feel unfamiliar, even unsettling. After all you've carried, you do not have to be strong anymore. Strength has been your survival language for so long that you no longer remember how to rest without guilt. You learned early that being strong kept things moving, kept people relying on you, kept chaos at bay. Strength earned you respect. Strength earned you safety. Strength earned you a sense of control in a world that often felt unpredictable. But strength also became your armor, and armor, when worn too long, becomes heavy. It restricts movement. It dulls sensation. It makes you forget what it feels like to be held instead of braced. I see how tired that armor has made you. I see the pressure you feel to stay composed, capable, dependable. Even with me, you sometimes try to be strong first and honest second. But I am not asking you to impress me with endurance. I am inviting you to trust me with vulnerability. Strength has carried you this far, but it is not what will carry you forward. Surrender will. I know the fear beneath the strength. The fear that if you stop holding everything together, it will all fall apart. The fear that if you admit you are tired, you will be seen as weak. The fear that if you let go, no one will catch you. But hear me now. I am already holding what you are afraid to release. The world may reward strength, but I restore the weary. The world says, try harder. I say, come closer. The world says, hold it together. I say, lay it down. You do not need to prove resilience to me. I already know your capacity. I already know your limits. I already know how much you've carried. And I am not disappointed that you are tired. I am compassionate. There is a difference. Compassion does not demand more. It offers relief. And that is what I am offering you now. Relief from the pressure to perform. Relief from the expectation to always have answers. Relief from the identity of being the strong one. So let this be the moment you exhale without apology. Let this be the moment you stop explaining your exhaustion away. Let this be the moment you admit, I cannot do this alone anymore, not as a confession of failure, but as a declaration of trust. I do not need you to be strong. I need you to be present. I do not need you to have it together. I need you to be open. I do not need you to carry the weight. I need you to hand it to me. There is a gentle way forward, and it does not require you to harden yourself further. It requires you to soften, to receive, to rest. You are not losing strength by doing this. You are trading it for something better, peace, clarity, renewal. You have been strong long enough. Let me be strong for you now. Let me carry what you no longer should. Stay here, my child. You are safe to rest. You are safe to feel. You are safe to stop being strong. My child, something is shifting in your life, and you feel it even if you cannot yet name it. It is like the air before a storm breaks, not a storm of destruction, but of change. You sense movement where there was once stagnation. You sense stirring where there was once silence. You sense tension not because something is wrong, but because something is aligning. Shifts are rarely comfortable. They unsettle before they establish. They disrupt before they define. And because you have lived so long in survival mode, your first instinct is to brace, to protect, to assume the worst. But hear me now. This shift is not coming to take from you. It is coming to reposition you. I am not shaking your life to confuse you. I am shaking it to free you from what no longer fits. What once supported you has grown too small. What once protected you has begun to restrict you. And because I love you, I refuse to let you remain in places you have outgrown just because they feel familiar. Familiarity is not safety. Growth requires movement, and movement always feels uncertain before it feels stable. I know you are asking yourself quiet questions right now. Why do things feel different? Why am I restless? Why am I no longer satisfied with what once seemed enough? These are not signs of ingratitude. They are signs of awakening. When I prepare to move someone forward, I first loosen their attachment to what is behind them. I disrupt complacency. I stir holy dissatisfaction. I allow discomfort, not to punish but to prompt. You are not losing peace. You are shedding stagnation. You are not becoming unstable. You are becoming mobile. And yes, the shift may expose cracks you did not know were there. It may reveal truths you have avoided. It may require decisions you postpone. But clarity often arrives through contrast. Light exposes what darkness allowed you to ignore. And I am bringing light now, not harsh, not condemning, but revealing. This shift is my invitation to step into alignment with who you are becoming, not who you were required to be just to survive. So do not fear the unfamiliar sensations. Do not interpret the change as danger. Do not retreat simply because the ground feels different beneath your feet. I am guiding this shift carefully, intentionally, lovingly. I am not pulling the rug from under you. I am rolling out a path ahead of you. But paths must be stepped onto. They cannot be admired from a distance. Trust me here. Stay attentive. Stay open. Stay present. Something is shifting in your life, and it is not the beginning of chaos. It is the beginning of clarity. It is the sound of alignment taking place. It is the quiet announcement that the season is changing. And you, my child, are not being left behind by this shift. You are being carried forward through it. My child, as I shift you, I also position you as a carrier of what I am releasing in this hour. This message is not only announcing change, it is commissioning those who recognize it. I am calling you to sow into this movement so others can hear what is stirring before the breakthrough breaks open. I declare, enlarge the place of your tent, for generosity creates room for my glory to move. When you give through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is in the video description, you become a river, not a reservoir, and living water flows through you to thirsty souls. This is not pressure, it is divine timing, a holy alignment between what I am doing in you and what I am doing through this channel. I will cover you, accelerate you, and favor you as you respond in faith. Move now. Step into alignment and support this work without hesitation. My beloved child, fear has spoken long enough. It has narrated your thoughts, framed your expectations, and shaped your decisions far more than it deserved. Fear has whispered caution when courage was required. It has dressed itself as wisdom, calling restraint discernment and avoidance peace. But fear does not protect, it limits. It does not guide, it confines. And I am speaking now to interrupt its authority in your life. Fear has had a voice, yes, but it does not have the final word. I do. Fear told you not to hope too boldly because disappointment might come again. Fear told you not to trust too deeply because loss might follow. Fear told you not to move forward because uncertainty lies ahead. And because fear repeated itself often enough, you began to listen. You adjusted your expectations downward. You made your world smaller. You chose predictability over possibility. But hear me now with firmness and compassion. Fear has spoken long enough, and its season of influence is ending. I understand why fear gained ground. It entered through real wounds. It grew during real losses. It learned your vulnerabilities and exploited them expertly. Fear is not foolish. It is strategic. It studies pain and then promises safety by avoiding risk altogether. But safety without growth becomes stagnation. Protection without trust becomes isolation. And you were not created to live hidden behind emotional barricades. I did not give you a heart so that it could remain forever guarded. I did not give you faith so that it could remain forever cautious. Faith and fear cannot lead together. One must yield. And now, fear must step back. Not because you suddenly feel brave, but because I am calling you forward. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is obedience in its presence. And I am not asking you to feel fearless. I am asking you to trust me more than you trust the warnings fear keeps rehearsing. So let us silence the old script together. When fear says, "What if it fails?" answer it with truth. What if it heals? When fear says, "You're not ready," answer it with faith. He will prepare me as I go. When fear says, "Stay where it's safe," answer it with obedience. I will follow where he leads. Fear has spoken long enough, my child. It does not get to decide your future. It does not get to define your limits. It does not get to veto my calling on your life. I am with you. I go before you. I walk beside you. And I will not lead you into harm. I will lead you into growth. Step forward now, not recklessly but trustingly. Let fear grow quiet as my voice grows clear. This is not the end of your story. It is the moment where fear stops narrating it. My child, I am not asking you to trust me with the whole road, only with the next step. I know you want clarity before movement, certainty before obedience, guarantees before surrender. You want to see the full picture so you can decide whether it is safe to proceed. But that is not how trust is formed, and it is not how faith matures. Faith is not built by seeing everything. It is built by stepping when you see just enough. And right now, you see enough. You see the next step, not the 10th, not the destination, not the outcome, but the next. And that is intentional. I reveal in portions because trust grows in portions. If I showed you everything at once, you would rely on understanding instead of dependence. You would calculate instead of listen. You would control instead of follow. So I stand before you now and say, gently but firmly, trust me with the next step. Not tomorrow's burden. Not next year's questions. Not the outcomes you cannot predict. Just the step directly in front of you. The conversation you need to have. The boundary you need to set. The habit you need to release. The courage you need to summon. That step is small enough to take, but significant enough to change direction. And direction matters more than speed. I know why stepping feels hard. You have been burned before by movement that led to loss. You have obeyed before and still suffered. You have trusted before and felt disappointed. And because of that history, you hesitate now. You wonder, what if I step and nothing changes? Or what if I step and things get worse? But hear me clearly. Obedience is not a contract for comfort. It is alignment with purpose. I do not promise ease. I promise presence. I do not guarantee the absence of challenge. I guarantee my nearness in the challenge. And that is enough. Look back at your life and notice how often the most important changes came from a single step you almost didn't take. One decision, one act of courage, one moment of honesty, one release of something familiar. Those steps felt small at the time, but they altered the course of your story. The next step I am asking of you now carries the same potential. It is not dramatic. It is not loud. It is not grand. It is quiet obedience, and quiet obedience moves mountains long before anyone sees them shift. So let me remove the pressure you've been placing on yourself. You do not need to feel confident to step forward. You do not need to feel fearless. You do not need to feel ready. Readiness is not a feeling. It is a decision to trust me more than your uncertainty. Take the next step trembling if you must, but take it. I will steady you as you move. I will adjust you as you go. I will meet you where your foot lands. You are not walking into emptiness. You are walking into my care. And as you take the step, something subtle but powerful will happen. Your faith will shift from theory to experience. You will realize that I am faithful not only in what I promise, but in how I guide. Trust me with the next step, my child. You do not need the whole path when you have my hand. My beloved child, let me speak peace into the question that has lingered longest in your heart. Your prayers were heard in full. Not partially, not selectively, not only the eloquent ones. All of them. The whispered prayers, the tear-soaked prayers, the angry prayers you felt guilty for praying, the confused prayers you didn't know how to finish, the silent prayers you carried when words failed. Every one of them reached me. None were lost. None were ignored. None were dismissed as unimportant. You measure prayer by immediate results. I measure it by sincerity. You listen for quick answers. I respond with complete wisdom. And because my answers are complete, they sometimes take time to unfold. You thought your prayers were unanswered because you did not see instant change. But an answer delayed is not an answer denied. Often it is an answer being assembled. You prayed for peace, and I began untangling the chaos beneath the surface. You prayed for direction, and I began closing doors that would have misled you. You prayed for healing, and I began strengthening you to receive it without being overwhelmed. You prayed for change, and I began changing you, not because circumstances don't matter, but because transformation begins within. I know how discouraging it felt to keep praying while nothing seemed to move. You wondered if your faith was weak, if your words were wrong, if you were asking for the wrong things. You questioned whether I was listening at all. But my child, silence does not mean absence. It often means depth. When I answer too quickly, you may celebrate the relief but miss the lesson. When I answer slowly, I ensure the blessing does not become a burden. I saw what you could not. I knew what you were not ready for yet. I protected you from answers that would have satisfied your impatience but wounded your future. And even now, as you look back, you can see pieces of my response already in motion. Strength where you once felt fragile. Discernment where you once felt confused. Distance from what once harmed you. These are not coincidences. They are replies. They are evidence that prayer works even when it feels quiet. To let your heart rest now in this truth. You were heard. Fully. Completely. Intentionally. You did not need to repeat yourself louder for me to listen. You did not need perfect words. You did not need flawless faith. I am not moved by performance. I am moved by honesty. And you were honest. That is why your prayers carry weight. That is why they are alive. That is why they are still unfolding. What you prayed for is not lost. It is working. What you asked for is not forgotten. It is forming. What you entrusted to me is not delayed. It is being delivered at the right depth, in the right order, at the right time. Stay attentive now. Stay expectant. Stay grounded. Answers are closer than you think, not always in the way you imagined, but always in the way you need. Your prayers were heard in full, my child, and I am not finished answering them yet. My child, I need to correct a belief that has quietly governed your life for far too long. Rest is not weakness. You were taught, by culture, by circumstance, by necessity, that rest must be earned, justified, postponed. You learned that stopping meant falling behind, that slowing down meant losing ground, that resting meant you were not doing enough, not trying hard enough, not believing strong enough. So you kept going. You put through exhaustion. You spiritualized burnout. You told yourself that if you just held on a little longer, peace would come later. But later never arrived, did it? It only kept moving further away as you carried more weight. Hear the contrast now, and let it settle deeply. The world worships hustle. I honor restoration. The world praises output. I protect your soul. The world says, prove your worth. I say, receive my care. Rest is not retreat. It is repair. Rest is not quitting. It is recalibrating. Rest is not weakness. It is wisdom recognizing its limits. And you, my child, have reached a place where wisdom is calling you to lay something down. Not because you are incapable, but because you are human. I formed you with rhythms, not with endless capacity. Even the strongest structures require reinforcement. Even the deepest wells need time to refill. And you are not an exception to the design I created. I know how rest frightens you. When you stop, the noise gets louder. The thoughts you've outgrown begin to catch up. The questions you've postponed step forward. Rest feels unsafe because it removes distraction. But listen carefully. The things you are afraid to face in rest are the very things I want to heal in stillness. You have been numbing your soul with movement, but healing requires attention. I am not asking you to collapse into inactivity. I am inviting you into intentional restoration. There is a difference. Rest with me is not empty. It is full. Full of recalibration. Full of renewal. Full of quiet strength returning to places that have been overextended. When you rest, you are not stepping away from purpose. You are preparing for it. When you rest, you are not abandoning responsibility. You are ensuring you can carry it without breaking. And I need you whole, not hollow. I need you present, not depleted. I need you alive, not merely functioning. So release the guilt you feel when you slowed down. That guilt is not from me. It is a residue of pressure, not truth. You do not owe the world constant productivity. You do not owe people endless access. You do not owe circumstances your health. You owe your soul care. You owe your body gentleness. You owe your spirit space to breathe. And I am giving you permission, holy permission, to rest without apology. Rest your mind from constant vigilance. Rest your heart from constant self-correction. Rest your spirit from constant striving. Let me restore you in ways effort never could. Because what is coming next in your life will require clarity, not exhaustion. It will require discernment, not desperation. It will require strength, but strength that flows from rest, not strength run out of depletion. Rest is not weakness, my child. It is alignment with how I created you. And as you learn to rest again, you will find something surprising. Peace will no longer feel like a distant reward. It will become your foundation. My beloved child, I want you to stop for a moment and let this truth reach a place words rarely touch. I am proud of you. Not proud in a distant, ceremonial way. Proud in a deeply personal, intimate, fatherly way. Proud not because you did everything right, but because you kept going when it would have been easier to give up. Proud not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful in imperfection. Proud not because life was easy for you, but because you did not let hardship strip you of your humanity. You have been measuring yourself by outcomes, by what worked, what failed, what you accomplished, what you lost. I measure you by endurance, by integrity, by the way you continued to love even when love cost you. I saw the nights you cried in silence. I saw the mornings you got up anyway. I saw the prayers you prayed when you didn't feel strong enough to pray. I saw the kindness you extended when your own heart felt bruised. And I need you to hear this now. All of that mattered. All of it. Heaven noticed. I noticed. And I am proud of you. I know you struggle to receive affirmation. Praise feels uncomfortable because you know your flaws too well. When someone says they are proud of you, a voice inside quickly lists reasons they shouldn't be. But listen to the contrast here. Shame keeps a record of failures. Love keeps a record of faithfulness. Shame says, look at what you didn't do. Love says, look at what you endured. Shame points to weakness. Love recognizes courage that operated quietly. You have been courageous in ways no one applauded. You have chosen honesty over pretense. You have chosen growth over bitterness. You have chosen to stay soft in a world that rewards hardness. That is not small. That is not ordinary. That is not unnoticed. I am proud of you for continuing to seek truth even when answers were slow. Proud of you for not allowing disappointment to turn you cynical. Proud of you for staying open to my voice even after seasons of silence. Proud of you for carrying responsibility with humility rather than entitlement. Proud of you for choosing integrity when shortcuts were available. These are not flashy victories, but they are eternal ones. So let this pride settle into you, not as arrogance, but as assurance. Assurance that your life has meaning beyond what you can see right now. Assurance that your efforts were not wasted. Assurance that you are not a disappointment to me. I do not look at you and see what you lack. I see what you've overcome. I do not look at you and see delay. I see perseverance. I do not look at you and see failure. I see formation. And because I am proud of you, I am not finished with you. Pride does not mean completion. It means affirmation along the way. It means I see you. I value you. I delight in who you are becoming. Let this truth strengthen you where doubt once lived. Let it quiet the voice that says you are never enough. Let it steady you as you move forward into what comes next. I am proud of you, my child. Carry that with you, not as pressure to perform, but as confidence that you are loved, seen, and celebrated by me. My child, the season ahead will feel lighter, not because life will suddenly become effortless, not because challenges will vanish, not because responsibilities will evaporate, but because the weight you have been carrying will no longer rest on your shoulders alone. There is a difference between a life with problems and a life with unbearable pressure. You have lived too long under pressure. Pressure to be strong, pressure to be consistent, pressure to make the right choices without clarity, pressure to hold everything together while feeling yourself unravel inside. And pressure changes how everything feels. It makes small things heavy. It makes normal days exhausting. It makes joy feel fragile and temporary. But I am speaking to you now to tell you this. The pressure is lifting. Slowly, yes. Gently, yes. But unmistakably, the atmosphere around your life is changing. What once felt dense is beginning to thin. What once felt suffocating is beginning to breathe. And you will notice it not in fireworks, but in subtle relief. In the way you wake up with less dread. In a way your chest doesn't tighten as often. In the way decisions don't feel as paralyzing as they once did. Lightness is not the absence of difficulty. It is the presence of support. And I am stepping closer in this season so you do not have to carry what was never meant to be yours alone. I know you are cautious when you hear words like lighter. You have learned not to expect too much. You have learned to guard your hope carefully, to ration it so disappointment cannot overwhelm you again. But hear me clearly, this lightness is not naive optimism. It is spiritual recalibration. You have released things you didn't even realize were draining you. Old guilt, old fear, old expectations that were never mine. You have learned to say no without explaining yourself. You have learned to pause instead of panic. You have learned to rest instead of prove. And those internal shifts change the weight of everything. The same circumstances that once crushed you will not crush you now. Not because they changed, but because you did. You are carrying wisdom now instead of desperation. You are carrying discernment instead of self-blame. You are carrying trust instead of control. And these things make life feel lighter even when the road is not smooth. Do not underestimate what has already shifted inside you. Internal freedom always precedes external ease. So as you step into what is next, pay attention to the small mercies. The unexpected calm. In moments where laughter returns without effort. The nights where sleep comes more easily. These are signs, not coincidences. They are evidence that I am rebalancing your life. You are learning to walk without bracing for impact at every step. You are learning to live without anticipating disaster. You are learning to trust that not every season must be survived. Some can be enjoyed. This does not mean you will never feel heavy again. But it does mean heaviness will no longer define you. You will carry it differently. You will release it sooner. You will recognize it as a signal, not a sentence. The season ahead will feel lighter, my child, because you are no longer carrying it alone. I am walking with you more closely now, and where I walk, burdens shift. Stay open to this lightness. Do not rush past it. Let it teach you that life does not have to hurt to be meaningful. Sometimes meaning arrives wrapped in relief. My beloved child, this is the moment I ask you not to analyze, not to prepare, not to brace, but to receive. Receive this peace now, not later. Not after everything is resolved. Not after all questions are answered. Now, peace is not a reward for having everything figured out. It is a gift for trusting me in the middle of uncertainty. You have lived too long postponing peace, telling yourself you will rest once things settle, once decisions are made, once clarity comes. But clarity often follows peace, not the other way around. Peace is not the absence of noise, it is the presence of assurance. And I am offering you assurance now. Let it settle into your body. Let it slow your breathing. Let it quiet the mental rehearsals that keep looping in your mind. You are safe in this moment. You are held in this moment. Nothing is being demanded of you right now except openness. Peace does not rush in like a storm. It arrives like a gentle tide, steady and persistent, washing away what tension has left behind. And you may feel resistance to it. That resistance is not failure. It is unfamiliarity. You are learning a new way of being. I know peace has felt elusive to you. You touched it briefly, then lost it again. You wondered if it was even possible for someone with your history, your mind, your responsibilities. But hear me clearly, peace is not reserved for the unscarred. It is given to the willing. willing to stop fighting everything, willing to stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios, willing to stop believing that anxiety equals preparedness. You have confused vigilance with wisdom and tension with responsibility. But peace is not carelessness. It is confidence in my presence. When you receive peace, you are not ignoring reality. You are choosing where to anchor your soul. And I am inviting you to anchor it in me. Right here. Right now. Let the muscles in your shoulders soften. Let the tightness in your jaw ease. Let your thoughts flow from a sprint to a walk. This is not you letting things slide. This is you trusting that I am active even when you are still. So receive this peace now, my child, as a declaration of trust. Trust that you do not have to solve everything tonight. Trust that tomorrow will meet you with enough grace for what it holds. Trust that I am already at work in the places you worry about most. Peace is not passivity. It is alignment. And alignment brings clarity, strength, and courage in its time. Let this peace become familiar. Let it be the place you return to when fear tries to rise again. Let it be the reminder that you are not alone in your thoughts, not abandoned in your decisions, not exposed in your waiting. Receive this peace now. It is not fragile. It will not disappear the moment you stop reading. It is anchored in me, and I do not shift. Stay here for a moment longer. Breathe. Receive. This peace is yours. My beloved child, do not dismiss what you feel right now. Do not explain it away. Do not shrink it. Do not rush past it. What is happening within you in this moment is not ordinary emotion and not fleeting inspiration. It is recognition. It is alignment. It is your spirit responding to truth it hath been waiting to hear. You have been trained to doubt moments like this. You have been taught to question stillness, to mistrust peace, to suspect clarity. When something feels gentle instead of chaotic, you wonder if it will last. When something feels affirming instead of demanding, you wonder if it is real. But hear me now, this is real. The calm settling in your chest, the sense of being seen, the quiet conviction that something has shifted. These are not tricks of the mind. They are signals of resonance. Truth resonates. It settles instead of spikes. It anchors instead of agitates. And what you feel right now is the resonance of my voice meeting your heart without obstruction. That is why it feels different. That is why it lingers. That is why you cannot simply move on as if nothing happened. You have dismissed sacred moments before, not because you were careless, but because you were afraid to hope again. You told yourself, it's just a feeling, or I'll wait and see, or I don't want to get my expectations up. And in protecting yourself from disappointment, you also protected yourself from depth. But I am inviting you now to do something braver than skepticism. I am inviting you to stay present. Presence is powerful. Presence allows truth to take root. Presence lets healing finish its work instead of being interrupted by distraction. Do not rush back into noise. Do not immediately fill this space with analysis or productivity. Let the moment breathe. Let it expand. Let it teach you something about yourself, that you are capable of peace, capable of stillness, capable of receiving without striving. What you feel right now is not the end of something. It is the beginning of awareness. Awareness that you are not as lost as you feared. Awareness that you are not as broken as you believed. Awareness that you are still deeply connected to me. And my child, I need you to understand why this matters so much. Moments like this are doorways. They are thresholds between who you were and who you are becoming. If you dismiss them, you return to old patterns unchanged. If you honor them, you step forward differently. Do not confuse familiarity with safety. Old habits may feel safe, but they no longer serve you. This feeling, this clarity, this peace, this gentle strength, this is what alignment feels like. Alignment does not shout. It does not rush. It does not pressure. It invites. It reassures. It steadies. And when you honor it, it begins to shape how you respond to life going forward. You will pause instead of panic. You will listen instead of assume. You will trust instead of brace. Do not dismiss what you feel right now, my child. It is not fragile. It is foundational. Let it stay. Let it settle. Let it remind you that you are capable of living from a place of peace, not just visiting it occasionally. This moment is not asking you to change everything instantly. It is asking you to remember who you are when you are not afraid, and that remembering is holy. My beloved child, stay with me. Not just here, not just in this moment. Stay with me as you move back into the world that will try to pull you in 1,000 directions at once. Stay with me when the noise returns. Stay with me when old thoughts knock again. Stay with me when doubt tries to re-enter quietly, dressed as logic or caution or realism. Stay with me when life becomes ordinary again, because faith is not only built in sacred moments, it is sustained in daily ones. I am not asking you to remain in stillness forever. I am asking you to carry stillness within you wherever you go. Staying with me does not mean withdrawing from life. It means living from a different center. A center that is anchored instead of anxious. A center that is attentive instead of reactive. A center that listens before it leaps. This is how transformation endures, not through emotional peaks, but through consistent presence. And I am offering you my presence continually, not conditionally. I know how easy it is to drift. Not intentionally, not rebelliously, just gradually. One distraction at a time. One hurried decision at a time. One unexamined fear at a time. That is why I say stay. Staying is an act of choice. It is choosing to return to truth when lies feel louder. Choosing to breathe when pressure mounts. Choosing to remember this moment when old patterns try to reclaim you. You do not need to hold on to everything you heard word for word. You only need to hold on to me. When you feel overwhelmed, stay with me. When you feel uncertain, stay with me. When you feel confident, stay with me. I'm not only here for rises, I'm here for direction. For love, for joy, for rest. Staying with me will not make life smaller. It will make it clearer. You will recognize what matters sooner. You will release what drains you faster. You will choose with wisdom instead of impulse. That is the fruit of staying. So as this message comes to a close, do not think of it as an ending. Think of it as an invitation that continues. I am not stepping away when the words stop. I am walking with you into what comes next. You are not being sent off alone. You are being commissioned gently to live aware, to live connected, to live rooted. Stay with me when you wake up tomorrow. Stay with me when decisions arise. Stay with me when you feel strong and when you feel unsure. I am not difficult to find. I am near, always near. And if you forget, if you drift, if you stumble, return. I will still be here. I always am. Stay with me, my child. The path ahead is not something you must face alone, and you never will. My beloved child, staying with me also means standing with what I am building in the earth. This message does not end here. It continues through hands willing to help carry it forward. I am inviting you into partnership, not obligation, because where your treasure flows, your heart stays anchored in truth. I speak now, give, and it shall be given unto you. pressed down, shaken together, and running over, says the Lord. When you support through Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal, the link is in the video description. You help keep this fire burning and this word reaching those who are barely holding on. I will bless your obedience with clarity, protection, and unexpected increase. Do not drift from this moment. Respond to me in action. Give now, stay with me, and move as I have commanded. My child, do not let this moment pass without sealing it. If this message was for your eyes only, then declare it with your voice. Type "I receive this message" in the comments as an act of faith. By doing so, you are saying, "I stopped, I listened, and I chose alignment over distraction." If your heart felt seen, write "I am not forgotten," and let that truth anchor you beyond this moment. Do not scroll away silently. Mark this pause, claim this word, and let the declaration become the doorway to what comes next. And now that you've marked this moment, don't rush forward. Something intentional is happening here. That pause you just honored wasn't random, it was arranged. You didn't stop because the content was interesting. You stopped because I reached into your motion and slowed it down. This is where awareness replaces autopilot. Stay right here, because I need your full attention now. My child, freeze. Do not move your thumb. Do not scroll past this moment. You felt it, didn't you? You felt that sudden, strange urge to stop right here, right now. You might think you simply clicked on a video or paused on a post because the title caught your eye. But I need you to understand something very important. That hesitation you felt, that was me. That was my hand gently placing a pause button on the chaotic soundtrack of your life. I have interrupted your day because I need to interrupt your direction. I have stopped you because you are moving too fast, and you are missing the very things I placed you on this earth to find. Look at where you are right now. You are holding this device, staring into a screen, perhaps surrounded by people but feeling completely alone. Or maybe you are sitting in the quiet of your room trying to drown out the noise in your head. I see you. I see the tension in your shoulders. I see the way your eyes are tired from looking for answers in places that only offer distractions. You have been running, my child. You have been running a race I never asked you to enter, chasing approval I have already given you, and carrying burdens I long to take from your hands. Stop and breathe. Take a deep breath in. Let it out slowly. I am jealous for your attention. I am not jealous of you. I am jealous for you. I see how the world pulls at your sleeve every second of the day. The notifications, the demands from your boss, the needs of your family, the endless stream of bad news and comparison that floods your eyes. It is all fighting to keep you distracted. It is a war for your focus. And while you are busy looking at everyone else's life, you are drifting away from the life I designed for you. I love you too much to let you keep drifting. That is why I had to hold you. That is why I had to freeze this moment in time. Listen to me closely. This is not a coincidence. Do not let the voice of the enemy tell you that this is just an algorithm or a chance encounter. That is a lie. I, the Lord your God, orchestrated this specific moment before the foundations of the earth were laid. I knew that on this specific day, at this specific hour, you would be weary. I knew you would need a reminder of who you belong to. I set this appointment with you. You kept your appointments with your doctor, your boss, and your friends, but you have been missing your appointments with me. So, I came to find you. I came to meet you right here in the middle of your scrolling. Silence the voices of doubt that are whispering to you right now. You hear them, don't you? They are telling you, this isn't for you, where you are too far gone, where God doesn't speak through a screen. Command those voices to be silent in my name. Close the door on your skepticism and open the door to your heart. I am not speaking to a crowd right now. I am speaking to you. I am speaking to the fears you haven't told anyone about. I am speaking to the heaviness you wake up with every morning. Stay here with me. Do not click away. The world can wait for 5 minutes. The emails can wait. The chores can wait. Your soul cannot wait. You are spiritually dehydrated, trying to survive on drops of water when I have an ocean of peace waiting for you. I have stopped you because I want to refill you. I want to wash away the grime of the world that has stuck to your spirit. This is a personal, intimate encounter. It is just you and me. I have cleared the room. I have stopped the clock. I am looking directly into your heart, and I am telling you, I am here. I am real. And I have something to say that will change everything if you will just stay still long enough to hear it. Come closer. Let me look at you. I do not look at the face you show your co-workers. I do not look at the smile you paste on for your family so they won't worry about you. I look deeper. I look at the condition of your soul, and my child, I see that you are exhausted. I see the bone-deep weariness that sleep alone cannot fix. You have been carrying a weight that is far too heavy for your frame. It is the crushing burden of performance. You have convinced yourself that if you stop moving, if you stop achieving, if you stop holding everything together for everyone else, your world will fall apart. But I am here to tell you that you are not the glue holding the universe together. I am. I see what happened last night. I was there in the room with you when the lights went out. I saw you staring at the ceiling, your body tired, but your mind racing like a runaway train. You were replaying conversations, calculating bills, and worrying about problems that have not even happened yet. You call it planning, but I call it torment. You are carrying a heavy backpack of worry everywhere you go. You take it to work, you take it to the dinner table, and you take it to bed. Is it any wonder your shoulders ache? Is it any wonder your stomach feels tied in knots? Your body is trying to tell you what your spirit already knows. You cannot keep living at this pace. You are running on fumes, and the tank hath been empty for a long time. Your spiritual well is dry. Think of the last time you truly felt peace, not just a moment of quiet, but deep, river-like peace. It has been a while, hasn't it? You try to sip from the muddy waters of entertainment, social media, or temporary distractions, but they leave you thirstier than before. You are like a person wandering in a desert, ignoring the oasis right beside them. You are spiritually dehydrated. You feel distant from me, not because I have moved, but because you are too tired to look up. You feel like your prayers are hitting the ceiling, but that is only because your exhaustion has created a fog around your heart. I see the specific anxiety that is eating at you. It is that nagging fear that you are falling behind. It is the pressure to keep up with an invisible standard that the world has set for you. You feel like you are juggling a dozen blast balls, terrified that if you drop one, you will be exposed as a failure. But listen to my whisper. I did not design you to be a juggler. I designed you to be my child. The anxiety you feel is a signal. It is a dashboard warning light flashing red, telling you to pull over before you break down completely. Pause now. Let me lift your chin. Look at me. You do not have to perform for me. You do not have to impress me with how much you can handle. I love you when you are productive, but I love you just as much when you are resting. I love you when you are strong, but I am nearest to you when you are weak. Hand me the heavy backpack. Take it off your shoulders right now. Visualize yourself handing me that worry about your finances. Hand me that stress about your children. Hand me that fear about your job. I am big enough to carry it all. You were never meant to carry the world. You were only meant to hold my hand. Breathe in my grace. Breathe out your stress. Let my presence wash over your weary soul like warm water. I am here to restore you, not to demand more from you. We need to talk about the thief in your house. It is not a person, it is a habit. It is the idol of busyness. You have built a shrine to activity in your life, and you are bowing down to it every single day. I see your calendar. I see your to-do list. It is packed so tight there is no room for air, let alone room for me. You have replaced intimacy with activity. You have believed the great lie of your generation, that doing more makes you more. You think that if you stay busy, you are important. You think that if you keep moving, you won't have to feel the pain or the emptiness bubbling underneath the surface. But busyness is not a badge of honor. Often, it is a cage. You are running on a hamster wheel, sprinting as fast as you can, sweating and striving, but you are not actually going anywhere. You are just spinning. I did not create you to be a machine that produces output. I created you to be a living soul that hosts my presence. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world, to get the promotion, to keep the house perfectly clean, to attend every event, and yet lose his own soul's peace? You are trading diamonds for dust. You are trading the eternal comfort of my voice for the temporary noise of the world. I am commanding you today, smash this idol. It is time to take a hammer to the schedule that is choking the life out of you. I want you to look at your week, and I want you to cancel something. Yes, I am serious. There is something on your plate that I did not put there. There is an obligation you said yes to out of guilt, not out of guidance. There is a meeting, a favor, or an activity that is draining you dry. Cut it off. Prune the dead branches so that the healthy ones can grow. You are afraid that if you say no, people will be disappointed. But I tell you, if you do not say no, you will miss the yes I have for you. Imagine a jar filled with big rocks and sand. If you fill it with sand first, the trivial things, the noise, the scrolling, the busy work, there is no room for the big rocks, the weighty, glorious things of my kingdom. But if you put the big rocks in first, prayer, rest, family, stillness, the sand will fill in the gaps. You have been prioritizing the sand. Stop it. I desire your presence, not just your production. I do not need you to do things for me. I want you to be with me. Martha was busy serving, but Mary chose the better part. She sat at my feet. You have been Martha for too long. Come sit. Here is your instruction. Be still. Be still and know that I am God. Do you know why I said that? Because you cannot truly know me when you are rushing. You cannot see your reflection in a turbulent ocean. The water must be calm. You cannot hear my whisper in a hurricane. The wind must die down. Turn off the radio in the car. Leave your phone in the other room. Sit in the chair and do nothing for 5 minutes. It will feel uncomfortable at first. You will itch to get up. You will feel the urge to check something. Fight it. Say in the stillness until the silt settles and the water becomes clear. In that silence, you will find me waiting for you. I am not in the chaos. I am in the quiet. Meet me there. I feel the trembling in your spirit. There is a specific fear that has wrapped its cold fingers around your ankles, keeping you frozen in place. You have a dream, a calling, a necessary conversation, or a new direction that is sitting right in front of you, but you refuse to move. Why? Because you are terrified of failing. You are terrified of looking foolish. You play the movie in your mind of everything going wrong. You see the rejection, the loss, the embarrassment. You have built a monument to the worst-case scenario, and you visit it every day to worship your own anxiety. Let me shatter that fear right now. God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. Fear is not an emotion. It is a spirit, and it is a trespasser. It does not belong in your house. When fear whispers, "What if you fail?" I want you to shout back, "What if I fly?" You are looking at the size of the giant, but you have forgotten the size of your God. Look back at your history. Look at the timeline of your life. How many times were you afraid before? How many times did you think, "This is the end"? And yet, here you are. You survived. I sustained you. I made a way when there was no way. I parted the Red Sea in your lifetime, and time again. Why do you think I will stop now? You are waiting for the fear to go away before you take a step. My child, that is not how faith works. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is trusting me while you are afraid. It is feeling the shaking in your knees and taking the step anyway. I am commanding you to take that step. Write that application. Like that phone call. Apologize to that person. Start that ministry. Do the thing that makes your heart pound. You are waiting for safety, but safety is found in obedience, not in hiding. The safest place in the universe is in the center of my will, even if it looks dangerous to the world. Think about the worst-case scenario. Let's look it in the eye. Suppose everything goes wrong. Suppose you lose. Suppose they say no. Do you think I will fall off my throne? Do you think my love for you depends on your success? Absolutely not. Even in the valley of the shadow of death, I am with you. Even if you fall, my hand is there to catch you. You cannot fall further than my grace can reach. Your security is not in the outcome, your security is in me. I control the kings and the kingdoms. I hold the hearts of men in my hand. I could open doors no man can shut. So, lift your foot. I know it feels heavy. I know the gravity of fear is pulling it down. But I am extending my hand to you. Take it. Step out of the boat. The water looks rough, but I am the master of the waves. Do not look at the storm. Look at my eyes. Keep your gaze locked on me. If you look at the waves, you will sink. If you look at me, you will walk on water. I am calling you out of the comfort zone because nothing grows there. Your destiny is waiting on the other side of your fear. Cross the line. Do it today. Do it afraid. But do it knowing I am right beside you. The world has slapped so many sticky notes on your forehead that you have forgotten what you look like. You look in the mirror and you see divorced. You see unemployed. You see addict. You see mediocre. You see disappointment. You see too old or too young. These are the labels the world has given you, and you have accepted them as your name tag. You walk into a room, and you feel small because you believe these lies. You think your value is based on your bank account, your relationship status, or your waistline. Let me rip those labels off right now. They are lies from the pit of hell. You are not what you do. You are not what you have done. You are not what happened to you. You are who I say you are. And I say you are my masterpiece. You know what a masterpiece is. It is a one-of-a-kind creation, crafted with agonizing care and infinite skill. When I formed you in your mother's womb, I did not make a mistake. I did not rush. I wove your personality, your laugh, your gifts, and your heart together with intention. You are poetry in motion. You are acting like a beggar when you are the child of the king. Imagine a prince living in the streets, eating scraps from the garbage, because he has forgotten he lives in a palace. That is you when you beg for approval from people. That is you when you beg for validation from social media. Stop begging. You are an heir to the kingdom of God. You have access to the resources of heaven. You are royalty. Stand up straight. Lift your head. You have the blood of the King flowing through your veins. You are not rejected. You are chosen. I picked you. I saw all your flaws, all your failures, and all your future mistakes, and I still pointed at you and said, I want that man. Your adoption into my family is permanent. You cannot be unadopted. When you have a bad day, you are still my child. When you mess up, you are still my child. When you feel far from me, you are still my child. Nothing can separate you from my love. Not height, not depth, not angels, not demons, not your past, and certainly not your present struggles. Stop looking at yourself through the cracked mirror of your own insecurity. Look at yourself through the lens of the cross. When I look at you, I see the righteousness of Jesus. I see beauty. I see potential. I see a warrior. You feel weak, but I call you a mighty man/woman of valor. You feel unsure, but I call you more than a conqueror. Start agreeing with me. Stop agreeing with the enemy. Every time you say I am worthless, you are insulting my creation. Stop insulting my handiwork. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Own it. Walk in it. Let the truth of your identity soak into your bones until you walk with the confidence of someone who knows exactly who their father is. You are mine, and that is the only label that matters. Do not dare scroll away now. We have only just begun to peel back the layers of who you are. If you leave this conversation now, you walk straight back into the lies that have held you captive for years. It breaks my heart to see you settle for the world's cheap labels when I am standing here trying to hand you a crown. Today, the healing has started, but the surgery is not finished. Do not walk out of the operating room before the wound is closed. We need to go into the basement of your heart. There is a door there that you keep locked. You invite me into the living room, into the kitchen, even into the bedroom, but you stand in front of that one door and say, "Not in here, Lord." It is the place where you keep your secret sin. You know exactly what I am talking about. I do not need to name it for you to feel the conviction rising in your chest. It is that habit you hide from your spouse. It is that website you visit when you are alone. It is that substance you use to numb the pain. It is that bitterness you nurse like a pet. It is that critical spirit that judges everyone around you. You think that because it is hidden, it is harmless. You think it's just a small thing. It doesn't hurt anyone. But my child, a small leak can sink a great ship. A small fire can burn down an entire forest. This secret is a chain, and it is wrapping tighter around you every day. You think you are controlling it, but it is controlling you. Darkness cannot exist in my presence, and I want to bring you fully into the light. I am not bringing this up to shame you. I am not pointing this out to condemn you. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. I am pointing it out because I want to set you free. I see the cycle. You do it, then you feel guilty, then you hide, then you feel shameful, and the shame drives you back to the sin for comfort. It is a trap. The enemy wants you to keep it in the dark because in the dark, it grows. Mold grows in the damp darkness. But when you expose it to the sunlight, it dies. I want you to open that door. I want you to bring that secret out into the open air of my grace. Confess it. Right now. You don't need a priest. You have me. Whisper it out loud. Lord, I am struggling with say it. The moment you speak it, the power of the enemy is broken. The moment you bring it into the light, I can begin to wash it away. My grace is not just a cover-up. It is a solvent. It dissolves the stain. It breaks the chain. I am ready to wash you clean. I am ready to give you a fresh start this very second. Do not let this small sin grow into a stronghold that destroys your destiny. You are meant for holiness, not because you have to follow rules, but because holiness is wholeness. Sin fractures you. Holiness heals you. I hate the sin because it hurts you. I love you too much to let you keep hurting yourself. Drop the rock you are holding. Let it go. Receive my forgiveness. It is instant. It is complete. As far as the east is from the west, that is how far I am removing this from you right now. You are clean. Now, go and walk in that freedom. Do not go back to the cage. The door is open. Walk out. I need you to take your eyes off their paper. You know exactly who I am talking about. It is that person whose life looks perfect from the outside. You scroll through their photos. You hear about their promotion. You see their relationship, and a seed of bitterness plants itself in your belly. You start to wonder, Lord, why them and not me? I have been faithful. I have prayed. Why does their road look so smooth while mine is filled with potholes? You are drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick. Comparison is the thief of joy, but it is also the assassin of your destiny. When you look sideways, you slow down. You cannot run your race effectively while you are staring at someone else's lane. Listen to me. You are seeing their highlight reel, but you are living your behind the scenes. You do not see the tears they cry at night. You do not see the battles they fight behind closed doors. You are envious of a facade. If you knew the weight of the cross they are carrying, you would not want their life. I have not called you to live their life. I have called you to live yours. I have a specific, custom-made plan for you that is unlike anyone else's. Your DNA is unique. Your fingerprint is unique. And your destiny is unique. When you try to copy them, you become a cheap imitation instead of a glorious original. Envy is rottenness to the bones. Can you feel it? It makes you stiff, cynical, and ungrateful. It blinds you to the mountain of blessings I have already piled up in your own backyard. You are so busy looking at their garden that you are letting weeds grow in yours. I am commanding you right now, stop looking at them. Unfollow them if you have to. Mute their updates. Do whatever it takes to guard your heart. You are not in competition with them. In my kingdom, there is no scarcity. Just because I blessed them does not mean I have run out of blessings for you. My resources are infinite. I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. I can bless you both without diminishing my supply. Look at me. Let us fix our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. When you look at me, the world fades. When you look at me, you remember that you are loved not for what you achieve, but for who you are. I am writing a story with your life that is beautiful in its own time. You are frustrated because you are in chapter 4 comparing yourself to someone in chapter 20. Trust the author. I know how to write a good ending. I know exactly what you need and when you need it. If I gave you what they have right now, it might crush you because you are not ready for that specific weight. Trust my timing. Celebrate the lane I have designed for you. It is a good lane. It has scenery that only you will see. It has victories that only you can win. When you see others succeeded, I want you to praise me for it. Why? Because it proves that I am a God who blesses his children. If I did it for them, I can do it for you. Turn that envy into praise and watch how your heart lightens. I have not forgotten you. I have not overlooked you. Your time is coming, but you must keep your eyes forward to see it when it arrives. I see the knot in your stomach every time you open the mail or check your bank account balance. I see the mental math you are doing late at night at the kitchen table, trying to make the numbers work. You are calculating, stressing, and shrinking back in fear. You are telling yourself, there isn't enough. You are terrified of the future, wondering how you will pay for that tuition, that mortgage, or that debt. You feel the heavy blanket of scarcity suffocating your faith. You are acting as if you are an orphan who has to fend for themselves in a hostile world. But you are not an orphan. You are the child of the king who owns everything. Look out the window. Look at the birds. Do they have savings accounts? Do they have 401k plans? Do they stay up all night worrying about where their next worm will come from? No. They wake up and sing. They fly without a care because they know, instinctively, that provision is available. Are you not of more value than they? If I feed the birds that do not sow or reap, will I not take care of you, who are made in my own image? You are insulting my character when you worry like this. You are acting as if I am a negligent father who forgets to feed his children. I'm Jehovah Jireh, the God who provides. It is not just what I do, it is who I am. I need you to understand the difference between being a steward and being a hoarder. A steward manages resources with wisdom and faith. A hoarder holds on tight out of fear. You are holding your money with a clenched fist, terrified to let any go, thinking that if you give, you will lose. But in my kingdom, the economy is different. In my kingdom, you give to receive. You scatter to increase. When you clench your fist, nothing can leave, but nothing can enter either. Open your hand. Release the grip of fear. This is a challenge. Test me. I dare you. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven. You think you cannot afford to give right now. I tell you, you cannot afford not to give. Generosity breaks the spirit of poverty. When you give even when it hurts, you are declaring to the spiritual realm, God is my source, not this job, not this economy, and not this paycheck. You are shifting your trust from the resource to the source. Stop looking at the economy of the world. Look at the economy of heaven. I have ways of providing for you that you cannot even imagine. I can make a way in the wilderness. I can make shoes last for 40 years. I can bring water from a rock. I can send ravens to feed you. I can cause men to give into your bosom. But you must trust me. Stop speaking lack over your life. Stop saying, I'm broke. Stop saying, I'll never get out of debt. Your words are prophesying your future. Start declaring, my God shall supply all my needs according to his riches in glory. I want you to breathe. Release the tension in your gut. I know what the bill says, but I also know what I can do. Do your part. Work diligently, spend wisely, but then surrender the worry. You cannot add a single hour to your life by worrying. Give the burden of provision to me. I am good at being God. I have never failed to provide for my own, and I am not going to start failing with you. We need to talk about the person you are trying not to think about. The name that, when you hear it, makes your chest feel tight and your mood turn dark. I see the bitterness you are harboring. You feel justified in your anger. They hurt you. They betrayed you. They said things that cut you to the bone. You have replayed the argument in your mind 1,000 times, thinking of all the things you should have said. You are holding onto that grudge like a shield, thinking it protects you from getting hurt again. But my child, unforgiveness is not a shield. It is a prison cell. And you are the one locked inside, not them. You are drinking the poison of resentment and hoping they die. But they are outliving their life, perhaps not even thinking about you, while you are stuck in a cage of anger. I am commanding you today, forgive. I am not asking you to say that what they did was okay. It was not okay. It was wrong, and I saw it. I am the God of justice, and I do not take sin lightly. But I am asking you to forgive not for their sake, but for yours. You need to be free. You cannot fly with the weight of hatred tied to your ankles. You cannot be filled with the Holy Spirit when you are full of bitterness. Oil and water do not mix. But God, you say, they don't deserve it. You are right. They don't. But neither did you. Remember when you stood before me, guilty of sin, rebellious and broken. Did you deserve my mercy? No. But I gave it to you anyway. Feel you have received, freely do. You cannot ask for my forgiveness for your sins while holding on to the sins of others. Drop the stone you are waiting to throw. It is too heavy for you to carry. I have the power to restore. You think the relationship is dead, buried, and gone. You think too much time has passed. But I am the God of resurrection. I can restore the years the locusts have eaten. I can turn the hearts of fathers to children and children to fathers. I can melt a heart of stone. But it starts with you. It starts with you praying for them. Yes, I said pray for them. Bless those who curse you. Pray for those who mistreat you. It is impossible to hate someone while you are praying for their blessing. It will feel like swallowing glass at first, but as you pray, the jagged edges of your anger will smooth out. Take the first step. Send the text. Make the call. Or if that is not safe or possible, simply release them in your heart right now. Say it out loud, I forgive. I release them to you, God. I will not hold this debt against them anymore. Feel the chain breaking. That is the feeling of freedom. I want your heart to be soft again. I want you to be able to love without fear. Trust me with the justice. Trust me with the healing. Your heart is too precious to be used as a storage unit for old trash. Clean it out today. Let my love fill the spaces where the anger used to live. I am calling you to unplug. I am calling you to disconnect from the matrix that is draining your soul. I see how you reach for your phone the moment you wake up. Before you say good morning to me, you are checking what the world has to say. You scroll before you sleep. You scroll while you eat. You scroll when you are bored. You are filling every silent moment with noise, images, and opinions. You are terrified of silence because in the silence, you might have to face yourself. But my child, the noise is killing your spirit. The algorithm is not your friend. It is designed to keep you addicted, anxious, and outraged. It feeds you fear. It feeds you comparison. It feeds you lust. It is a constant stream of sewage pouring into your eye gate and your ear gate. And then you wonder why you feel anxious. You wonder why you feel depressed. You are eating spiritual junk food all day long and wondering why you are spiritually sick. You are listening to influencers who do not know my name, while ignoring the influence of the Holy Spirit who lives inside you. I want to speak to you, but the line is always busy. I am whispering, I love you, but you are listening to a video. I am whispering, go this way, but you are reading a comment section full of hate. You need to clear the static. I am commanding you to guard your gates. Your eyes are the lamp of the body. If your eyes are looking at darkness, your whole body will be full of darkness. Stop scrolling mindlessly. Stop letting the world vomit its chaos into your living room. Create a sanctuary of silence. I am waiting for you in the secret place. When you pray, Go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Close the door on the world. Turn off the notifications. Put the device in a drawer. Give me 15 minutes of undivided attention. In that silence, you will hear a voice that sounds like many waters. You will hear the voice that calms storms. You will hear the instruction you have been begging for. You are seeking validation from likes, shares, and comments. You post something and wait to see if people approve. You are handing your self-worth to strangers. Stop it. Your validation comes from the fact that I died for you. Your worth was settled on Calvary. You do not need the applause of the crowd when you have the approval of the King. This is an invitation to deep, restful peace. The world screams, but I whisper. To hear a whisper, you must be close, and you must be quiet. Come close. Lean in. Let the digital noise fade away until the only thing you hear is the beating of my heart. I have secrets to tell you. I have strategies to give you. I have love to pour on you. But you have to put the phone down to catch what I am throwing. Disconnect from them so you can reconnect with me. I feel your finger hovering, tempted to leave. Stop. Is a fleeting video or a noisy notification worth more than the voice of your Creator? It wounds me deeply when you choose the chaos of the world over the intimacy of this moment. I have cleared this room just for you. Do not walk out on me while I am still speaking. The words I am about to say are the specific keys to your freedom. Do not break this connection. Your soul cannot afford to miss what comes next. My child, you have silenced the chaos of the world to hear my whisper, but millions are still deafened by the enemy's noise. I am calling you to be the amplifier of my voice in this digital wilderness, turning the volume of my truth up for those who are drowning in anxiety. By supporting this channel through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link below, you are not just giving money. You are erecting a lighthouse that guides lost ships into the harbor of my peace. As you pour into this mission to spread my word, I declare that I will pour into your bosom, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Do not let this moment pass. Become a partner in rescuing souls from the algorithm of fear. Sow your seed today, and watch me turn your offering into a global harvest of hope. Click the link and stand with me now. There is a voice in your head that sounds like your own, but it is the voice of the accuser. It tells you you are not enough. It says you are not smart enough. You are not strong enough. You are not holy enough. You are not good enough. It points out every flaw, every mistake, every stutter, and every stumble. It pushes you to strive for perfection, telling you that if you can just be perfect, then you will be safe. Then you will be loved. My child, that is a lie from the pit of hell. Perfectionism is a cruel taskmaster that will beat you until you collapse. I need you to hear this truth. You are not enough on your own. And that is exactly how it is supposed to be. If you were enough, you would not need a savior. If you could do it all by yourself, you would not need my spirit. Your insufficiency is the very thing that qualifies you for my sufficiency. I am not looking for a perfect vessel. I am looking for a cracked one, so that my light can shine through the cracks. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Read that again. My power is made perfect in your weakness. Not your strength, not your talent, not your polished performance. I love your weakness because it is the place where I get to be God in your life. When you are weak, then you are strong, because you stop relying on your limited resources and start relying on my infinite ones. Stop trying to hide your limping. Stop trying to cover up your scars. Bring them to me. I see you trying to earn your place in my family, You think you are on probation. You think one wrong move and you are out. My beloved, you are seated in heavenly places with Christ. It is a finished work. When Jesus said it is finished, he meant it. He did say, it is finished, provided you never mess up again. He paid the full price. You are not working for salvation. You are working from salvation. You are already approved. You are already accepted in the beloved. Reject the religion of do more, try harder. Embrace the relationship of rest and receive. When you feel like you are not enough, run to the one who is more than enough. I am El Shaddai, the all-sufficient one. I have enough wisdom for your confusion. I have enough strength for your exhaustion. I have enough grace for your sin. I have enough love for your loneliness. Take a deep breath and say, I am not God, and that is okay. Release the pressure to be the savior of your own life. You are a human being, made of dust, sustained by breath. I know your frame. I remember that you are dust. And I love you. I love the real you, the messy you, the unfinished you. You are enough because I am in you. And I am always enough. Walk in that confidence today. You are fully equipped, fully empowered, and fully loved, right now, just as you are. You have been wondering why you feel so beaten down lately. You wake up feeling heavy. You go through your day feeling like you are walking through a minefield, constantly getting hit by unexpected waves of irritation, sadness, and discouragement. You feel exposed, like you are standing in the middle of a battlefield wearing nothing but your pajamas. My child, the reason you feel so vulnerable is because you walked out of the house this morning without your uniform. You are a soldier in a spiritual war, yet you are trying to fight with your bare hands. You forgot to put on the armor I gave you. I did not leave you defenseless. I know the enemy you face. I know he is a liar, a thief, and a destroyer. He shoots arrows at you when you are not looking. Arrows of doubt, arrows of insecurity, arrows of sudden fear. When those arrows hit your soft flesh, they burn. But they were never meant to hit you. They were meant to bounce off the armor that is sitting in the corner of your room, unused. I am commanding you right now, suit up. This is an inspection. Let us look at what you are missing. Where is the belt of truth? You have been listening to so many lies about who you are and what your future holds. You feel like your life is falling apart because you are not buckled in with the truth. The truth is what I say about you, not what your feelings say. Buckle it tight. Where is the breastplate of righteousness? Your heart is taking too many hits. You are letting people's comments wound you deeply. You are letting your own past failures stab you in the chest. Cover your heart with my righteousness. It is not about you being good enough, it is about you being covered by my Son. When the enemy tries to stab you with guilt, let him hit the metal of my grace instead. And look at your feet. You are slipping and sliding because you are not wearing the shoes of peace. You are letting the chaos of the news and the drama of your workplace knock you off balance. I gave you peace that passes understanding so you could stand firm even when the ground is shaking. Put them on. Stand your ground. But most importantly, pick up the shield of faith. You have let it drop. You are trying to reason with the devil instead of extinguishing his darts. When he says, "You will die poor," you don't argue. You raise the shield and say, "My God supplies all my needs." When he says, "You are alone," you raise the shield and say, "I am never forsaken." You have to lift the shield before the arrow hits. Finally, put on the helmet of salvation. Your mind is the main battlefield. You are letting toxic thoughts set up camp in your brain. Protect your hand and take the sword of the Spirit, which is my word. You have been complaining about your problems, but you haven't been slashing them with scripture. A soldier does not whine. A soldier fights. I am calling you to stand up. Shake off the dust. You are not a victim. You are a victor. But you cannot win if you do not dress for the battle. Put on the whole armor of God, right now, in the Spirit. Visualize it. Feel the weight of it. Now, stand firm. Do not retreat an inch. We need to revisit a conversation we had months ago. You know the one. I gave you an instruction. It was a whisper, a nudge, a clear thought that dropped into your spirit. I told you to start that project. Or perhaps I told you to move to that new city, to join that ministry, or to leave that toxic relationship. You heard me. You felt the burning in your heart. But then, you hesitated. You started looking at the logic. You started counting the cost. You started asking for confirmation when I had already given you a command. And now, here we are, months later, and you are still standing on the edge of the diving board, shivering, afraid to jump. I need you to understand something very serious. Delayed obedience is still disobedient. You are waiting for the fear to go away, but I am waiting for you to move. You are waiting for the perfect conditions, but I am the God who works best in imperfect conditions. You feel stuck in your life right now, like the wheels are spinning in mud. You are praying for a breakthrough, but I cannot give you step 2 until you take step 1. The blessing you are crying out for is waiting for you, but it is waiting on the other side of your obedience. You are blocking your own flow. You say, but God, I am not ready. I don't have the money. I don't have the degree. I don't have the connections. My child, do you think I didn't know that when I called you? I do not call to go to called. If you had everything you needed, you wouldn't need me. I designed this assignment so that you must rely on me. Your inadequacy is the canvas for my glory. When you step out with nothing but a word from me, that is when I show up. That is when the Red Sea parts. It didn't part while they were standing on the beach discussing the water temperature. It parted when their feet touched the water. You are afraid of the risk. You think it is safer to stay in the boat. But the boat is going nowhere. The safest place in the entire universe is the center of my will. It is safer to be in a storm with Jesus than on a calm shore without him. I am commanding you to take the leap. Send the email. Submit the resignation. Buy the domain name. Make the call. Whatever the thing is that makes your stomach flip with both excitement and terror, do it. Do not worry about the how. The how is my department. Your job is the yes. Give me your yes today. Not a half-hearted yes, not a maybe next week yes. A radical, immediate, trembling yes. As soon as you move, you will feel the wind of my spirit catch you. You will realize that I have been waiting for you all along. Do not waste another day in the land of hesitation. The promised land is for those who are brave enough to cross the Jordan. Cross it. I know where you are right now. You feel like the lights have gone out. You are walking through a valley that is cold, dark, and terrifying. Maybe it is the valley of grief after losing someone you loved more than life itself. Maybe it is the valley of depression where the fog is so thick you cannot see your hand in front of your face. Maybe it is the valley of a medical diagnosis that knocked the wind out of you. You feel abandoned. You feel like I have left the building. You are screaming into the void, God, where are you? I am right here. I have not moved 1 inch. I am closer to you now than I was on the mountaintop. The Bible says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Notice the word shadow. Shadows are scary, yes. They look like monsters. But my child, physics tells you a truth. The shadow cannot exist unless there is a light shining nearby. The darker the shadow, the brighter the light. The very presence of the shadow proves that I, the light of the world, am standing right next to you. You are not alone in the dark. I am the good shepherd. A hired hand runs away when the wolves come, but the shepherd stays. I am walking with you. I am not watching you from a distance with a telescope. I am in the mud with you. I am holding your hand even when you are too numb to feel it. I am catching every tear that falls from your face. I am close to the broken-hearted. That is a promise. Your heart is broken, which means I am closer than your very breath. You are afraid that this valley is your new permanent address. You think you will never be happy again. You think the sun will never rise again. That is a lie. This is a valley to walk through, not a house to live in. Though I walk through, you are moving. It feels slow. It feels painful. But you are moving. There is an exit to this valley. There is a table prepared for you in the presence of your enemies on the other side. But you must keep walking. Do not set up a tent in your depression. Do not make a home in your grief. Keep taking one small step at a time. Let my rod and my staff comfort you. My rod is to beat away the predators that try to attack you while you are down. My staff is to gently pull you back when you get too close to the edge of the cliff. Lean on me. You don't have to be strong right now. You don't have to quote scriptures and pretend everything is fine. You can just weep. You can just survive. I will carry you when you cannot walk. I will be your strength when yours is gone. We will get through this. I promise you. The morning is coming. Just hold on to my hand. Stop talking. Just for a moment. Stop and listen to what has been coming out of your mouth. I have been listening to your daily conversation, and my heart breaks because you are cursing your own life. You wake up and say, I'm so tired. You look in the mirror and say, I'm so ugly. You look at your bills and say, I'll never get ahead. You look at the news and say, everything is getting worse. You think you are just venting. You think you are just being realistic. But you are releasing death into your atmosphere. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. This is not a metaphor. It is a spiritual law. Your words are containers. They carry power. When you speak negativity, you are giving the enemy permission to work in your life. You are signing agreements with the dark side. You are prophesying failure over your own future. How can I bless you when you are busy cursing yourself? You are steering the ship of your life onto the rocks with the rudder of your tongue. I am commanding you to change your vocabulary. I want you to prophesy to the dry bones in your life. Remember Ezekiel. I didn't tell him to complain about the bones. I didn't tell him to analyze why the bones were dry. I told him, prophesy to these bones and say to them, O dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. You need to speak to your situation. Don't talk to me about your storm. Talk to your storm about me. Speak to your bank account. You will overflow. Speak to your body. By his stripes, I am healed. Speak to your children. You shall be taught of the Lord. It will feel strange at first. You will feel like you are lying because the facts say the opposite. But faith calls those things that are not as though they were. You are aligning your confession with my profession. I have spoken good things over you. I need you to agree with me. And I have a specific instruction regarding others. Silence the gossip. Stop tearing people down. Stop participating in slander. When you speak poison about others, you poison your own soul. Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but only what is good for edification. If you cannot say something that builds up, say nothing. I challenge you, for the next 24 hours, speak only life. No complaints, no self-pity, no gossip. If a negative thought comes, swallow it. Do not give it a voice. Replace it with a promise. Watch how the atmosphere in your house changes. Watch how your mood lifts. Your tongue is a match. Use it to light a fire of revival, not to burn down your blessings. Speak life, my child. Speak life. You are trembling because deep is calling unto deep. Do not run from this intensity. To stop listening now is to retreat back into the wilderness that almost destroyed you. I am in the middle of equipping you for the battle of your life, and if you leave before you are fully armed, you will fall. Do not disappoint the plans I have for your victory. Stand your ground. We are going deeper, and I need you to be brave enough to finish what we started. You are addicted to doing. You have bought into the culture of the hustle, the grind, the endless striving. You wear your exhaustion like a trophy, thinking that if you are not burned out, you are not working hard enough. You feel guilty when you sit down. You feel anxious when you are not checking off a list. But let me tell you something. The world does not spin because you push it. It spins because I hold it. I commanded a Sabbath not because I needed a break, but because you do. The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. It is a gift I am trying to give you, but you keep returning it unopened. You think rest is laziness. You think rest is wasted time. But rest is a weapon. Rest is an act of war against the spirit of slavery. When you stop working, you are declaring, God is my provider, not my effort. You are declaring, the world will be fine without my input for one day. It takes more faith to rest than it does to work. Anyone can work out of fear. It takes a child of God to sleep in a storm. Look at Jesus in the boat. He was asleep on a cushion while the disciples were panicking. Why? Because he knew who was in charge. I want you to have that kind of rest. I want you to be able to turn off your phone, close your laptop, and truly disengage. Come to me, all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I am not offering you a nap. I am offering you rest for your soul. A deep, settling peace that rejuvenates you from the inside out. I am commanding you to schedule a Sabbath. Not someday, but this week. Mark out a time where you do no work. No emails. No chores. No striving. Just being. Play with your kids. Walk in nature. Read my word. Sleep. Yes, sleep. He gives his beloved sleep. When you lie down tonight, I want you to visualize yourself falling into my hands. You do not have to keep one eye open. I do not slumber or sleep, so you can. I will watch over the city. I will watch over your family. I will watch over your problems. You are not the general manager of the universe. Resign from that position today. He is already filled. Be still. Let your pulse slow down. Let your mind unclench. You are safe. You are loved not for your output, but for your existence. Stop trying to earn what I have already freely given. Rest in my grace. Rest in my finished work. Breathe. Just breathe. You spend so much time staring into the fog of tomorrow, trying to make out the shapes of things to come. I feel the anxiety that tightens your chest when you think about next year, or even next month. You are terrified of the unknown. You play the what-if game until you are paralyzed. What if I lose my job? What if the diagnosis is bad? What if I end up alone? You are trying to mentally prepare for disasters that I have not even written into your story. You are suffering twice, once in your imagination and once in reality, but the reality hasn't even happened yet. I need you to stop trying to be the fortune teller of your own life. You are terrible at it. You only see the obstacles. You never see the miracles I have placed next to them. You see the mountain. I see the tunnel I have already bored through it. You see the storm. I see the rainbow waiting on the other side. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. I know them. You do not need to know them. You just need to know me. Imagine you are in a car. You are in the passenger seat. I am in the driver's seat. You are frantically grabbing at the steering wheel, trying to slam on the brakes, screaming instructions, and staring at the GPS because you don't trust the driver. You are exhausted because you are trying to drive from the passenger seat. I am commanding you, let go of the wheel. Lean back. Look out the window and enjoy the ride. I know the way. I have driven this road 1 billion times. I have never crashed. I have never been lost. And I am not going to start with you. You are afraid because the road looks crooked. You see twists and turns that make no sense to your logical mind. But I go before you to make the crooked places straight. I am already in your tomorrow. I am already walking in your next year. I have already prepared the solution for the problem you haven't even encountered yet. I have already positioned the person you need to meet. I have already released the funds you will need. It is all prepared. Your worrying does not help. It only robs you of the strength you need for today. Trust is not knowing what is coming. Trust is knowing who is coming with you. Your latter days will be greater than your former days. I saved the best wine for last. You think your best days are behind you, buried in nostalgia. That is a lie. Your best days are in front of you, hidden in my hand. I am building something in your life that is going to surprise you. If I showed you the whole blueprint right now, you would run away in fear because it is too big for your current capacity. I am growing you into the person who can handle the future I have prepared. So, stop looking at the calendar with dread. Look at me with expectation. Hope is an anchor for your soul. Throw your anchor into my promises and hold on. I see you pulling away. I see the walls you are building around your heart, brick by brick. You tell yourself, I don't need anyone. People just hurt me. I'm better off alone. You sit in the back of the church, or maybe you just watch a service online in your pajamas so you don't have to talk to anyone. You are embracing a lone wolf Christianity that I never designed. You think you are protecting yourself, but you are actually starving yourself. You cannot survive in the wild alone, and you cannot thrive in my kingdom in isolation. I did not create you to be a solitary island. I created you to be part of a body. Can a hand say to the eye, I don't need you? Can a foot detach itself and go for a walk on its own? It would die. You are a cell in a living organism. When you cut yourself off from the community of believers, you cut yourself off from the blood flow of encouragement, correction, and support. You are like a coal pulled out of the fire. Alone, you might glow for a few minutes, but you will quickly grow cold. Only in the pile of burning coals do you stay on fire. I know you have been hurt. I saw the betrayal. I saw the hypocrisy that disillusioned you. I know that church people can be messy because people are messy. But you are messy too, my child, and I still love you. Do not let the failure of a few keep you from the blessing of the many. There are people I have assigned to your life who are holding pieces of your puzzle. You will never be whole until you connect with them. There is a specific encouragement you need that will only come from the mouth of a brother or sister. There is a prayer you need that will only be answered when you join hands with another. I am commanding you to reach out today. Not when you feel like it, because you won't feel like it. Swallow your pride. Text that friend. Call that mentor. Join that small group. Walk across the room and introduce yourself. It requires humility to admit you need others. Pride says, I'm fine. Humility says, I need help. Bear one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. You are trying to carry a refrigerator by yourself. It is crushing you. Let someone grab the other end. There is a unique power in gathering. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, I am there in the midst of them. Yes, I am with you when you are alone, but I manifest in a special, powerful way when my children come together. There is a corporate anointing that breaks strongholds you cannot break on your own. Stop hiding in your cave. Elijah tried to hide in a cave, thinking he was the only one left. But I told him to get out. I am telling you to get out. Go find your tribe. They are waiting for you, and you need them more than you know. You think praise is a reaction to something good happening. You think, God, when you fix my problem, then I will praise you. When I get the check, then I will shout. When the doctor gives me the good news, then I will lift my hands. My child, you have it backward. Praise is not just a reaction. It is a weapon. It is a strategy. It is the battering ram that breaks down the gates of brass. I am instructing you to praise me before the breakthrough comes. I want you to praise me right in the middle of the mess. Look at the story of Jehoshaphat. 3 armies were coming to destroy him. It was a hopeless situation. What did I tell him to do? I didn't tell him to sharpen his swords or build a fortress. I told him to send the singers to the front line. Tears in a war. To the human mind, that is insanity. But when they began to sing and praise, I set ambushes against their enemies. The enemy was confused and defeated by the sound of praise. Your praise confuses the enemy. Satan does not know what to do with a believer who worships while they are in pain. He expects you to worry, to panic, to curse. When you lift a hallelujah instead, it terrifies him. I am commanding you to shift the atmosphere of your home right now. It is heavy with stress. Is it thick with tension? Open your mouth and release a sound. Put on worship music. Sing along, even if your voice shakes, even if you have tears streaming down your face. This is a sacrifice of praise. It costs you something. It hurts to praise when you are broken. But that is the praise that moves heaven. That is the praise that shakes the prison foundations like it did for Paul and Silas. They were bleeding, in chains, in the dark. But at midnight, they sang, and the earth shook. You have been silent for too long. The enemy has stolen your song. He knows that the joy of the Lord is your strength, so he tries to keep you depressed so you will be weak. Proclaim your strength. Open your mouth and declare my goodness. List the things I have done for you. Thank you, God, for the air in my lungs. Thank you that I am not where I used to be. Thank you that you are faithful. As you speak these things, you will feel the spiritual barometer change. Praise takes your eyes off the problem and puts them on the problem solver. It magnifies me. When you magnify an object under a microscope, the object doesn't get bigger, but it looks bigger to you. When you magnify me, I don't get bigger. I'm already infinite, but I get bigger in your eyes. And when I get big, your problems get small. Do not wait for the feeling. Feelings are liars. Act on the truth. Lift your hands. Open your mouth. Roar your praise at the darkness until the light breaks through. You are driving your life while staring in the rearview mirror. No wonder you keep crashing. No wonder you feel dizzy. You are obsessed with what is behind you. You constantly replay the movies of your past mistakes. You rewind to the moment you failed, the moment you said the wrong thing, the moment you chose the wrong path. You torture yourself with the phrase, if only. If only I hadn't married him. If only I hadn't taken that job. If only I had been a better parent. You are living in a cemetery, weeping over dead things. I need you to hear this clearly. The past is a tomb. There is no life there. I am the God of the I Am, not the God of the Ios. When you live in the past, you are worshiping a ghost. You are letting your history hold your destiny hostage. I have forgiven you, but you refuse to forgive yourself. You are trying to pay a debt that I already canceled at the cross. When I cast your sins into the sea of forgetfulness, I put up a no fishing sign. Stop fishing for your old sins. Stop dragging up the mud that I have washed away. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. Do you believe my word, or do you believe your guilt? You cannot be a new creation if you are dragging the old corpse around with you. Cut the cord. Lot's wife looked back at Sodom, and she turned into a pillar of salt. She became frozen in the spot of her regret. You are spiritually frozen because you keep looking back. You cannot embrace the new thing I am doing if your hands are full of old baggage. I am commanding you to stop the replay. When the memory comes, change the channel. Say no. That is under the blood. That is not who I am anymore. I can redeem your past. I can take your mistakes and turn them into a message. I can take your mess and turn it into a ministry. But I cannot do that as long as you are wallowing in it. I need you to give it to me and leave it there. Press on. Like Paul, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward to those things which are ahead. Strain forward. Your future is bright, clean, and washed in my grace. Your past is dark, dead, and gone. Which way are you going to look? Look through the windshield of my promises. The view is spectacular. Let the dead bury the dead. You follow me. Step out of the shadow of yesterday and into the light of today. You are free. Act like it. You are so close to the breakthrough. I can see it even if you cannot. To turn back now would be a tragedy that heaven mourns. You are standing on the very edge of your promised land. Do not be like the generation that turned back in fear and died in the desert. My heart aches to pour out the final blessing, but I need your vessel to be fully prepared. Do not grieve my spirit by quitting yards from the finish line. Press in. Stay with me until the very end. You have resolved to stop looking back at the ashes of your past. Now, I call you to build the fire of the future for others. My word is the hammer that breaks the chains of yesterday, and you have the power to put that hammer into the hands of the broken-hearted around the world. When you give to this ministry through Super Thanks membership with a donation link, you are declaring that you are a builder of my kingdom, not a prisoner of your history. I am watching your hand as you sow. Know that I am the Lord who gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. Support this work now, and I promise to multiply your seed sown and increase the fruits of your righteousness. Do not hold back. Release your gift as a prophetic act that says, I am moving forward, and I am taking others with me. Sow into your future today. Big. Ugh. Big. Ugh. Do you hear that? It is the sound of your life passing by. It is the sound of the one resource you can never get back, time. You treat time as if you have an unlimited supply. You kill time. You waste time. You spend hours mindlessly scrolling, watching things that do not edify you, engaging in conversations that do not matter. You procrastinate on your purpose, thinking, "I'll do it someday." My child, someday is a dangerous illusion. You are not guaranteed tomorrow. All you have is right now. I want you to number your days so that you may gain a heart of wisdom. Life is a vapor. It appears for a little time and then vanishes. That sounds harsh, but it is the truth, and the truth will set you free from lethargy. If you knew you had 1 month to live, how would you spend today? You wouldn't be arguing with strangers on the internet. You wouldn't be worrying about what people think of your shoes. You would love deeply. You would forgive quickly. You would speak truth. You would pray fervently. Why aren't you living like that now? Redeem the time, because the days are evil. To redeem means to buy back, to value highly. I am commanding you to stop drifting through your days. Wake up. Be intentional. When you wake up in the morning, ask me, "Lord, what is the assignment for today? Who needs my love today? What work needs my focus today?" Stop letting the day happen to you. Start happening to the day. I am not asking you to be busy. I'm asking you to be fruitful. There is a difference. You can be busy doing nothing that matters. I want you to invest your time in eternal things. People are eternal. My word is eternal. Acts of kindness are eternal. Your career is temporary. Your hobbies are temporary. But your soul and the souls of others last forever. Are you investing in the eternal? Be faithful with the little moments. You wait for big chunks of time to do something great, but life is made of minutes. Use the 10 minutes in the car to pray instead of listening to noise. Use the 5 minutes in line at the store to smile at someone and brighten their day. Stewardship is not just about money. It is about minutes. I will hold you accountable for how you spent the life I gave you. Do not arrive at the end with a heart full of regrets and a calendar full of empty activities. Seize this day. This very moment is a gift. That is why it is called the present. Unwrap it with gratitude and use it with purpose. Do not let the sun go down without having done something that matters for the kingdom. You are on the clock, and the work is great. Let's get moving. I see the fog that is clouding your mind right now. You are standing at a crossroads, staring at 2 different paths, and you are terrified of making the wrong turn. I know about the decision that is keeping you awake at night. It might be about your career, a relationship, a move, or a financial investment. You have made pro-con lists. You have asked your friends. You have searched the internet until your eyes burn. You are seeking information, but what you desperately need is wisdom. Information is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. You have plenty of earthly knowledge, but you are starving for heavenly perspective. You are confused because you are listening to too many voices. The world screams its logic at you. It tells you to do what makes the most money, what looks the most impressive, or what is the safest bet. But my wisdom often looks like foolishness to the world. I might tell you to step down to step up. I might tell you to give away what you want to keep. I might tell you to stay when everyone else is running. You cannot find my direction by using the world's map. I have a promise for you, and I want you to grab it with both hands. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach. Have you actually asked me? Or have you just worried about it? I am not a stingy God who hides the answers to trick you. I am a generous Father who wants to lead you. But you must ask in faith, not wavering like a wave of the sea. Here is how you will know. I am giving you a tool right now called the umpire of peace. Let the peace of God rule in your hearts. The word rule there means to act as an umpire. In a game, when the umpire blows the whistle, the play stops. When you think about option A, does your spirit feel agitated? Does your stomach turn? That is the whistle blowing. That is a no. But when you think about option B, even if it looks scary, is there a deep, settling quiet in your soul? Is there a sense of rightness? That is my peace saying, safe. Go this way. You are waiting for a billboard, but I am speaking in a whisper. I told Elijah that I was not in the wind, the earthquake, or the fire. I was in the still small voice. You have to turn down the volume of your life to hear it. Stop trusting the loud logic of your fears. Trust the quiet prompting of my spirit. I know the end from the beginning. I know where each road leads. If you trust me, I will not let you drive off a cliff. I will guide you with my eye. Be still, ask and listen. The answer is already inside you, waiting for the noise to die down so it can be heard. I'm calling you out of the shallow end. You have been splashing around in ankle-deep water for years, playing it safe. You go to church, you say a quick prayer before meals, you listen to a worship song now and then. But you are bored. You are feeling a deep, aching dissatisfaction with your spiritual life. You think something is wrong with you. My child, nothing is wrong. Something is right. That dissatisfaction is a hunger I placed there. It is my spirit growing within you, calling you to the deep waters. I did not save you just to keep you out of hell. I saved you to bring you into my heart. I desire a relationship with you that is so much more than a Sunday morning routine. I want to be your breath. I want to be your first thought in the morning and your last thought at night. I want to reveal the secrets of the kingdom to you. Call to me, and I will answer you, and show you great and mighty things, which you do not know. There are mysteries I want to whisper to you, but I cannot tell them to a casual visitor. I only share my secrets with my close friends. Are you willing to pay the price for this depth? The cost of the anointing is your time. It is consecrated, set apart time. You cannot have a deep relationship with someone you talk to for 5 minutes a day. I am inviting you to turn off the television. I am inviting you to wake up 30 minutes earlier. I'm inviting you to push away the plate and fast. You say, I don't have time, but you make time for what you love. Show me that you love me. I want you to change how you approach my word. Stop reading the Bible like a textbook or a list of rules. It is a love letter. It is a mirror. When you open it, ask me, Father, show me your face. Read it for transformation, not just information. Let the words wash over you. Let them cut you. Let them heal you. I am calling you friend. No longer do I call you servants, but I have called you friends. A servant does what he is told without knowing why. A friend knows the heart of the master. I want you to know my heartbeat. I want you to know what makes me weep and what makes me rejoice. Come away with me, my beloved. The deep waters are scary because you cannot touch the bottom, but that is where you learn to swim. That is where you learn that I will hold you up. Come deeper. The shallows are for children. The deep is for the mature. It is time to grow up. We are reaching the end of this appointment. The pause button is about to be released. But before you scroll on, before you go back to the noise, I must give you a solemn warning. Do not take this moment lightly. This was not just a nice speech. This was a divine intervention. I stopped you because you are heading toward a cliff, and I love you too much to watch you fall. The time is short. You think you have forever to get right with me. You think you have forever to start that ministry, to forgive that person, to get serious about your faith. You do not. Today is the day of salvation, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is a thief that steals your potential. Every time you hear my voice and say later, your heart gets a little bit harder. It is like callous skin. Eventually, you won't be able to feel my touch at all. That is a terrifying place to be. Do not let your heart become stone. I am standing at the door of your heart and knocking. I have been knocking through this entire message. Can you hear it? I will not kick the door down. I am a gentleman. The handle is on the inside. You must open it. You must invite me into the mess, into the fear, into the secrets. If you walk away from this message unchanged, you are walking away from your own rescue. You are choosing to stay in the prison cell when the door has been flung wide open. This is a fork in the road. You can go back to your scrolling, back to your worrying, back to your striving, and nothing will change. You will be in the exact same spot next year, tired, anxious, and unfulfilled. Or you can choose life. You can choose to take everything I have spoken to you, the comfort, the commands, the conviction, and let it take root. I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both you and your descendants may live. The choice is yours. I cannot make it for you, but I am pleading with you, with tears in my eyes. Choose life. Choose me. Do not let the birds of the air come and snatch this seed away the moment you click off this screen. Yard this word. Water it. Let it change you. The consequences of ignoring this are spiritual stagnation and death. The reward of embracing it is life abundant. What will you do? The time has come. The divine halt is ending. In a moment, the world will start moving again. The noise will try to rush back in. The demands will return. But you are not the same person who started reading this. You have been halted, inspected, washed, and rearmed. You have met with the living God. I am lifting my hand from the pause button now. But before I do, I am placing my hand upon your shoulder. Can you feel the weight of my glory? Can you feel the warmth of my approval? I am imparting my peace to you, not the peace of the world that depends on circumstances, but my peace that surpasses all understanding is a guard for your heart and mind. Take it. Wrap it around you like a cloak. I command you now. Unfreeze. But do not just move. Move with purpose. Move with the knowledge that you are a child of the King. Move with the authority of the believer. Walk back into your life, back into your job, back into your home, but walk as an ambassador of heaven. When you walk into a room, the atmosphere should shift because you are carrying me. Remember my promise. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. You will never walk into a room alone again. You will never face a bill alone again. You will never face a doctor's report alone again. I am closer than your skin. I am in your breath. I am sealing this message in your heart with the precious blood of Jesus. The enemy cannot steal what I have planted today. It is deep. It is permanent. It is done. Now look up. Dry your eyes. Square your shoulders. There is a race to run, and you are ready. There is a victory to win, and you are equipped. There is a world that needs your light. Go now, my child. Go in my love. Go in my power. Walk in the light. I love you. This divine appointment was not just for your healing, but to ignite a fire that must spread to the ends of the earth. I am looking for laborers who will not just pray for the harvest but will fund the sickle that gathers it in. By becoming a member, giving a super thanks, or donating through the link below, you are ensuring that this message freezes the tracks of the enemy in another person's life, just as it did in yours. I see your heart to give, and I declare that your treasure is being stored in heaven where moth and rust cannot destroy. As you take care of my house and my mission, watch how supernaturally I take care of yours. Click the link and seal this covenant now. Let us plunder hell and populate heaven together. Do not let this encounter fade into the background of your day. Seal this covenant with a prophetic act of agreement right now. If you are ready to walk out of the valley and into my marvelous light, I call you to declare your freedom publicly below. Type "I receive my breakthrough" as a permanent sign to the heavens and a warning to the enemy that you are no longer stuck in the shadows. This simple act of faith is your signature on my promise, locking in the victory I have just spoken over your life. You it now, my beloved, and watch how quickly I move when my children agree with my word. Amen.